Welcome to Art Live. We're back. I'm your host, Stephen Morse. We got our speakers lined up. We got some stuff to talk about. It's going to be another great show. It's a holiday week. Super excited for a lot of stuff. We got a lot of stuff going on. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to our conversation today. We got Thanksgiving tomorrow. Got good times, and we're all here to have some fun and talk about art. We got Kinetics, Harmony, Donnie. We got you all lined up and ready to go. Dr. Kinetics. Dr. Kinetics. Kinetics. Doctor. How you doing today?
Good. How are you doing today?
I'm, I turn it on like that. That's what, that's what actors do. No,
Yeah.
I'm doing pretty well today, actually. Thank you for asking. That was very nice of you.
I was a teenage hand model.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Look at these money makers.
I don't think
Yeah.
I can do it because I have tattoos all over my hands.
You
So
can.
this is my president shaking hand. If I ever have to take a picture with the president, I kept it tattoo free so I can wear a suit.
Side
Nice to
note,
meet
I
you,
was
Mr.
actually
President.
thinking of a hand tattoo, Donnie, where it was like half faces on these fingers and then the other half faces on these fingers, so then I can put them together and make full faces.
If you think you have an awesome idea like that, odds are pretty good it's going to turn out terrible. Just so you know.
Son of a. Well, Donnie,
The more complicated you get with tattoos, the more off it looks because you're a body, your meat. So like it moves and settles strangely, and it's not going to look like you think it's going
Fine. Well,
They
besides that, how are you doing today, Donnie?
Great. I just swam. We swam at the pool downtown and working. I was working before that. We've switched to a new eating habit. So I have a gigantic breakfast now. We basically have lunch for breakfast, like a big lunch for breakfast, then we have breakfast for lunch. Then we have a very small dinner at or before 5 p.m. It's usually like, salad.
Yeah.
I feel great. I feel amazing. 2 days in. This is what I've been trying to do all along, and I keep on getting sucked into like eating meals outside of my time preference and eating different sizes of meals when I don't want to. And I just feel like shit, and I feel like I'm just like flabby and like I have low energy, and I feel fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm big on intermittent fasting.
I'm 41. Look at me.
Yeah,
Look like I'm 20. It's crazy.
Donnie, I'm older than you?
Yeah.
What the fuck? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be swearing. I don't know if actually it doesn't really
I
matter.
do look older than you though. So.
Well, it's probably the full beard. I mean, you look like a president or a rabbi, one of the...
Rabbi.
Yeah, you got to stroke the beard. We got Harmony here too. I don't know what's going on. Harmony, can you hear us? Harmony is deep under the water, under the sea, under the...
She is muted at the moment, but I think also she maybe can't hear us.
I think she.
I see that her mic
she
is
put
muted
that
though.
on.
Well, we'll come back. We'll circle back to Harmony. Hopefully we can figure out those technical difficulties. Hey, well, welcome. Depending on where you're watching us, we are streaming live on X, on YouTube, and on LinkedIn. And this show is all about art and life and art. It's the combination of it all. So we like to talk a little bit about everything. We got a couple things definitely want to get into today. A couple crazy things happen in the general art world I'd love to talk about. And then I know, Donnie, you had some things you want to talk about specifically with digital art we can get into. Yeah,
Sure.
So, there's been a lot of like interesting things going on. And then we got Art Basel next week. Miami Art Week is coming up, and we got the introduction of, the whole digital segment there, which is really exciting. All the tents are going up or they're up here. Everything's getting ready. I can start to feel the energy shift. I got satellite fairs just down the street from me, and the whole energy of Miami changes. Like, a lot of people are saying it's shifting out of Miami, or Dubai is taking over. It's like, I don't know. This is still Miami Art Week, and it's still been going for 24 years, 25 years strong now. So, yeah. The only thing I'm not looking forward to is two things that happen: horrible traffic and cell phone issues, because typically there's so many people here at overload.
The towers can't handle it. Yeah. That happens around here a lot too.
Yeah. You'd think they'd be able to figure that out after so many years. And I think they're going to have water taxis, for the traffic issue this year. Some people are probably going to be ordering those Uber helicopters for exorbitant prices. People got money. They don't want to sit on a causeway going back and forth to fairs.
I would imagine it is difficult to run a 5G grid when you have such a dramatically fluctuating population. Because if you have enough for everybody at peak hours all the time, it probably costs you too much to run it for reasonable cost because everybody's using Wi-Fi. right? Like everyone all the time is using Wi-Fi except the people in their cars. So if there's more cars, more visitors, there's less Wi-Fi. But then it's not like that's an everyday thing. So like, how could they? You know, I'm sure there's a solution, but I don't think it's an easy one.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like power demands. You have to like curtail the network. We get our power shut off sometimes because everyone turns their AC on at the same time. But if they were producing enough power to always power everyone's AC all the time, they'd be
Yeah.
overproducing and losing money because the power has nowhere to go. So I don't know. Consumption
Right.
is kind of a tricky moving target.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I mean, we can get deep into that rabbit hole of FPL and if you're producing any solar energy. Let's check in with Harmony. She's on mic. Harmony, are you there with us? Nope, we can't hear you. No, you can hear us. Well, we'll have to. You got to check on those settings in StreamYard and make sure you're all set to the right devices. But yeah. So it's actually interesting for me because my gallerist is not participating in Art Miami for the first time in like forever. Rudolph
Why not?
Beach Gallery. He has a gallery. Well, he has galleries in Miami Beach and in Salzburg, Austria. He's got I think 3 or 4 galleries, and he's opening a new gallery next to his old gallery in Miami Beach. So he's doing an opening there. So hopefully I'll be able to get over there. But yeah, he's typically. I mean, where I met him was in 2013 at Art Miami when I was covering for Pork Belly Times and.
Oh, so he's still doing stuff there though. He's still doing things. He's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
not participating in the official.
Right. Art Miami specifically is a
Yeah.
satellite art fair. It's the largest satellite fair that goes on during Miami Art Week.
Got
So
it.
you have Art Basel, and then you have Art Miami, which is the second largest fair. So,
Word.
and that's been going since 2001. So it's a really big fair. So I was really surprised. I was like, wow. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense if you're opening a brand new gallery and you want to focus all the attention there. He actually hosted, I think, the Pudgy Penguins party years ago at his gallery, if I remember correctly, which was like 2022 maybe. Yeah, it's crazy. Going way back. Well, really not that far back. Yeah. So, a couple things I wanted to talk about. You know, we had some crazy things going on in the trad art world with the clip sale. It's something like $236 million in that toilet, which didn't really meet expectations. That's the kind of the one I wanted to focus on. But what are your thoughts on both?
The
of those
toilet went
sales?
for 236 million.
No, the Klimt, the Gustav Klimt.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which to me, okay, art, the value of art is whatever somebody's willing to pay for it. So if you have a sheik that's like, I want that piece, it doesn't matter. That's like chump change to him. He's like, I want that piece. I'm going to get that piece. Doesn't matter what it costs. Okay. So it's like, it could be fraud. It could not be fraud. It could be just somebody who has the money and wanted the piece. Like that's a very notable work of art from a notable artist with a lot of historical and cultural significance. Then you have a gold toilet. And before I say anything, what are your thoughts on the gold toilet situation, or either or? But you know,
What's the situation with the gold toilet?
I think
what's
it's
the
sold-
hubbub?
I think it basically was right at the expectation level of like 12 million or something like that. I can pull up the details, but
Who's the
didn't-
artist?
It didn't. It was the guy who did the banana. I gotta think of his name. Give me 1 second.
This is like a sequel.
Yeah.
I don't know if
something
you can
like that.
mimic the
Uh,
same kind of
Maurizio
performance art 2
Catalan.
times. You know.
Maurizio Catalan. So
Hmm.
yeah, you know,
That's
this was-
cool. I think it's cool. And I think if someone bought it, that's great for them. And then now they have a gold toilet. I think also, just to touch on the Gustav Klimt sale, that's an unfathomable amount of money. Like it doesn't matter. If you said it was a quarter of that, my response would be the same. If you said it was 10 times that, my response would be the same. Because once you add all those zeros, it's not even a fathomable number anymore. So
Yeah.
I think both of those numbers are so far out of the realm of anything reasonable, except that someone bought a ton of gold with the toilet. It was
right.
an asset. An asset. Maybe that's the joke.
Hold on, I got to think for that. There you go. What are your thoughts, Dr. Kinetics?
About both of them?
About either or.
Yeah. Yeah. The toilet. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really know what I have to say about it. I mean, I guess it's great that it hit pretty much expectation. I mean, I guess that's
12.1
what they want, right?
$12.1 million to be exact.
It's a lot of fucking money.
It's a workable.
That's like
usable toilet.
houses. That's many houses in most places. And that's one really big, awesome house in other places. It's a
Yeah.
house.
Yeah. I think it's great.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah. Was it like a? wonder if it was like a bidding thing or like people bidding on it back and forth,
I don't
or
know.
did
That's
someone just come in and buy it? I don't know. Those are things I'd be curious about.
I don't think that
Were
there
there
would
multiple
be.
people interested in it, or did someone just come in and buy it?
all
I
these
don't know.
art websites want me to pay. So let me see if I can find a website where I can read about the article. Okay, so it's fetched $12.1 million. And remember, this was the second iteration because the first one was actually stolen from the Blenheim Palace in 2019. This is considered conceptual art. Okay?
Oh,
101 kilogram toilet. It only received one bid.
Yeah.
uh-oh.
Well,
Kind of sounds like an obligated reserve bidder to me.
Yeah, they were
yeah.
probably
So that's
pre-planned.
Because
yeah.
you don't start your first bid at 12.1 million unless no one will accept less than 12 million, I guess.
Yeah. And then yeah,
The
and then
exact
is it a
weight in
legitimate
gold
bid?
value, sorry, was $10 million.
I don't know shit about this kind of stuff though. So
So the value in gold was 10 million if you were to probably, I guess, melt it down and just extract the gold.
seems pretty safe. I mean, except the gold's at kind of an all-time high.
Gold
I
is
think,
at
or is
an
close
all-time.
to an
Yeah.
all-time high. So maybe this is exactly the wrong time to buy the toilet.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have waited 5 years and buy the toilet
Yeah.
then.
Yeah,
Good
gold
for the
is
money
still,
printer.
But the other one, I don't know, that's cool.
Yep.
But
Clint?
yeah, it's interesting though, because those are singular pieces. And so while they're cool, like I don't think it extrapolates to anything other than just one person with an uber amount of money wanted to buy this one thing. So I don't know.
for
I think it's
Yeah.
cool. I mean, it's
visual
cool.
reference.
I mean, it's cool, but
Yeah, it
yeah,
doesn't
like
indicate a trend or a
it
pattern.
doesn't. Yeah,
is what
like
you're
to
saying.
me, it's
Yeah.
just okay. There's one person that really wanted it, and clearly money isn't an object because if you're willing to spend $230 million on a painting,
for the Klimt.
you got to have a shit ton more. That's just like, I mean, if you spend $230 million on a painting, like imagine how much money you got to have.
Probably a little more, a lot more.
Yeah, you would think a considerable amount more.
We were walking around the downtown area last night. We go for walks every night around here. And this isn't like a super wealthy place, but I guess there are some super wealthy people. Man, there's some blocks here where I'm like, how did you people get this much money? They have like 6 cars I could never afford one of, and they have like homes that are 4 stories and gargantuan, and they have like a gym and like help. You know, there's 2 people with Hyundais in the driveway. You know, if somebody's got like 4 G-Wagons and 2 Hyundais, that the Hyundais are probably the people cleaning the fucking floors or something. Like, how do you end up there? What do you do? How many people do you have to like make mad to end up with, 8 zeros in your net worth in a house like that? I
mean,
just don't. It seems like it's just a different planet. It's like it's like a different reality.
People do have
Oh,
an
it is.
exorbitant amount of money. I mean, you look at, okay, so let's look at the sales from this Jesus, I'm blanking out.
Harmony, if you're talking, we
Auction.
can't hear you.
Yeah, Harmony. Are you
Oh
there?
no, yeah,
Cool.
can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can hear you.
Yay! Sorry, guys.
Everything good with you?
Yeah, I had to switch to these because my headphones failed me.
Rock and roll. He's back.
Well, you ready for Thanksgiving tomorrow? As we're discussing this auction from the other day.
I think that I'm gonna fast tomorrow. I don't
Oh.
think I'm gonna do Thanksgiving. I've decided to
Interesting.
fast.
Are you still in the States?
Yeah, I'm in the States. I go to Miami on Sunday, and then I have another trip planned after that.
Very
Yeah.
nice. Travel's good. Good to experience that stuff. What are your thoughts on the? We were talking about 2 things. The sale of the toilet, $12.1 million, had one bidder, right? $12.1 million gold toilet. And then the Gustav Klimt sale, that was $236.4 million.
I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing that people have that type of money to spend on art. Like I know a lot of people have that type of money, but that type of money to spend on art is just an amazing idea to just think about that right there.
Yeah, $1.17 billion in sales just in that auction alone.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's a lot of money. There you go. There's
I
Well,
first of all,
maybe.
I love that painting. Did you
The
guys
Klimt?
talk about the painting? Yeah.
No, we were just getting into it really, and
No,
you know,
let's talk about the painting. I'm much more
let's talk about
interested
it.
in that than the $238 million,
Do
actually.
you,
It was a
and
person that was in
and
there.
his wife is Hilma, right? Hilma af Klint. They're husband and wife, aren't they? Am I getting this wrong?
You
I don't
could
know.
be getting it right. I'll have to pull up the
Um,
information. We're educating ourselves as we do this.
yeah. So I'm kind of obsessed with her work if she's if she's the one married to him. I
Frida
don't want to
Kahlo.
sound like an idiot, but it's a unusual last name. I wouldn't think that they were two separate people with the
Who's
same
the woman?
Hilma
Mhm.
Off Clint Klim
How do you spell off?
AF.
Got it.
These were some of the pieces that sold. Frida Kahlo. That's a great piece.
Oh, Frida Kahlo. Go back to it. Go back to it, please.
This is yeah, I can't. This is a scrolling slideshow,
Oh,
but it'll go back. I think it's
who's
only a couple
that? I don't
pieces.
like that one.
That's
This
the
I
Klimt.
love.
Wait, that was the Gustav
No.
Klimt that sold for $236 million.
Oh,
This is the
not
Frida
this
Kahlo.
one?
No, that's the
Yeah.
Frida Kahlo. That
And
one, I'm not
this one?
sure.
No, I don't like this one. This one I'm not that one I love. The
Ah,
Klimt
okay.
I love.
Let's
Yeah.
see, Monet.
Hilma af Klint never married.
Oh. So
Also,
what
it's
are they
not
related?
Clint.
Oh,
It's Klimt. His name is
oh,
Klimt, and her name is
see?
Klint.
Very
Yeah, they're not
see?
related. It doesn't seem. There's nothing in the Wikipedia
Yeah.
article about.
Yeah. See, I'm an idiot, but I like her.
So two landscapes actually sold alongside the portrait. A combined
Let's see.
$154.3 million on a Matisse. Okay, and it was Matisse's.
Wait, and different buyers, correct? Not the same buyer.
I mean, I'm guessing that would be over like $400 million or something like that.
Yeah.
Almost $400 million. But it's possible. Yeah, and then you have, of course, the Maurizio Catalan toilet, which sold for $12.1 million, just above the estimate of $10 million. One
That's the
buyer.
toilet. That's the toilet we were talking about the other day.
Yeah, and what are your thoughts on that? I mean, it had one bid sold to that bidder.
Do you think it's like a real bid?
I don't know if it was or wasn't. It could have been kind of, prearranged, but either way, I have thoughts on the work but I'm curious to get your thoughts on the work before I.
I'm not very excited. I'm not very excited about the toilet. I think
Oh,
it's
then, oh.
what's wrong.
No, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean the toilet doesn't excite me. Go back up. I'm excited about the Clint. Like if you I just want to talk about that painting.
Yeah. There you go.
I just think it's beautiful.
Got a strange body, like
Yeah.
almost like a goat standing upright.
Yeah, I think the same thing. It's a little odd.
Do you know the
I
two
don't.
things that I notice about this work? The color palette is to me is unique, especially for the time period, but also the eyes. He really captured the eyes very well, and there's a lot of soul and life right there. Like there's
Yeah, wow.
yeah, that's really well
When
done.
For
was this-
sure. Like, go
when was
on,
this
go on.
made?
One at a time, children.
When was it made?
It's a good question. Let's
He
find out.
died in 1916 or 1918, so probably just. I mean, not
Yeah.
after that for sure.
Um, her face is almost the same color as her gown.
Yes, like turn of the century, 1914, 1916.
I don't know. I think it's she looks very regal. It's and it is like the waist is very low, but it like makes her seem like she's standing upright even more. Like to me it makes her look very regal.
Almost has like sheathed moth wings, and it looks like abstract to me. Like the proportions are so like he's clearly really. I don't know shit about this guy, so this is really amateur dissecting, but he's like super good at capturing anatomy properly. Like the hands aren't weird AI hands, and the face is dead on. I mean, it's really expressive, and
Well,
the body
also
is so off, on purpose, I think.
Yeah.
Let me go to
it has to
one
be.
of the well-known pieces to
Yeah,
see
it's
if you know that one.
extremely elongated.
Right.
well also I mean check out like hold on. Who is she? Who is Elizabeth?
Just really quick, the kiss. Like this is the one that is obviously very well known,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
So
It
that's
looks
like,
like it looks like all the Hartos.
The Hartos look like it.
yeah,
Yes,
I
the
think this
Hartos
Yeah,
came
look like
that's what
it.
I mean. That's
Yeah.
what I
See?
mean. Yeah. They all look like that.
Yes.
the
I think they're
face.
supposed to. They're supposed to look like the kiss. That's the whole
Yeah.
point, I guess.
Well, yeah,
So
because it was from it. Yeah.
Elizabeth Lederer was the daughter of a Jewish industrialist, August Lederer.
So she was like Kim Kardashian back then.
Yeah, but I think it's very interesting that she is, yeah, she was like high society, but look who she's surrounded by.
I don't want to
Who
totally
is she
guess.
surrounded by?
Look like Asian or Mongolian or something.
Yeah, it looks like
Yeah.
Asian.
And then even like around her dress, there's like like dragons. Are those dragons?
Let's see.
Now, I do like dragons.
Now that's valuable input.
Which the
Anybody
looking-
read anything about this, or are we all just speculating? I haven't
Well,
read
we're
a thing
all
about it, so
currently-
I don't know shit.
No,
We're going in
I'm
blind.
I'm
This is
reading
raw.
it right now.
Got it.
You know which is interesting to me is how like accurate the face is, but then you go to the rest of the faces and figures and everything else, and it's kind of like this is almost a little bit of realism, but the rest of it is not. You see the juxtaposition there? I mean, even look at the faces in the background with that focus. I mean, that he really captured that detail there, and I guess he does that in the other works too, where you can pretty much see
He's
that.
really trying to bring your attention to the, the star. in a
It
way.
says that he took 3 years to paint this,
Holy moly.
and that it speaks about power, elegance, and confidence of Vienna's high society. But that's what I mean. It's like she's high society and she's surrounded by like maybe all, if her parents were industrialists.
Yeah, it definitely encapsulates that. The figure is definitely very interesting. I mean, I heard some people say some wild things in our space the other day about how they describe the figure and why maybe she's presented that way.
What were
What
the
did they
things said?
say?
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
hear this.
I mean, kind of.
They said it. You don't have to be soft. You didn't
Yeah,
say
that's true. That's true. They're basically talking about like transgender, like early commentary on transgenders or things like that, just because of like the length and the odd shape of the figure. It's not.
it. It doesn't
very-
look masculine though. Honestly, she looks like a four-legged creature standing upright. Like that's the posture of that. I wouldn't put that in the
Like,
male category.
I mean, the arms, the torso is all very long. Yeah.
This commentary says what the dragons tell us, that the dragons are emerging from crested waves, and what that explains or what that tells us that that she's wearing the emperor's cloak, and that he used Klimt used Oriental motifs in other works, and this is the only portrait that contains some kind of imperial symbolism, right? I guess it was meant to explain her importance and her family's importance. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about transgender.
No, I mean, it wouldn't. That would just
I
be
know, I'm
something
just I'm just
commentary
kidding.
from-
I'm just kidding.
That's us
Yeah.
projecting modern times and current social goings on onto old works, I think.
Well, I mean, didn't they used to, everyone used to kind of bind their breasts down? I mean, there was like two different, there were like, I think in the Oriental culture, people used to like wrap their breasts down, so that you couldn't really tell.
I mean, I know about the
They didn't
the
like
shoes.
flaunt them.
you know, the
Well,
shoes, how they would, the tiny shoes and put it on their feet.
feet as well.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, I don't know. So honestly, some sex features that we try to accentuate at this point, people did try, like various cultures did try to um, get rid of. They were like vulgar to show or have. But I
Right.
mean, I don't know anything about this time period or wherever this is taking place. So she does look like she has boobs, though, I guess.
it,
I don't know,
Mm,
man.
yeah,
I'm doing a
we can
terrible job at this. I'm gonna
we
shut
can
up.
speculate for sure. I am curious. So, like, okay, so you have all these really like culturally significant works. These you know these artists with a huge legacy, and then you have you know a toilet made of 18 karat gold, which kind of seems interesting to just throw into the mix here. Do you guys have any
We could compare
thoughts?
it to the Duchamp urinal,
It
couldn't
could
we?
be, but I guess at that time
can we?
the urinal really
Why
spoke
not?
to something different at that time. Now it's like that was over 100 years ago, right? So
Well, I'm not saying it's the same commentary on the same thing, but I'm saying it's a similar idea. I don't know what the idea is behind the gold toilet, what sort of commentary he's trying to make, about like capitalism or wealth or whatever. But I don't, like if we were like it's dumb, I think that I don't know enough about it to say whether or not it's dumb. But I also think if I didn't know anything about the urinal, I think that was dumb too. So just trying to open my mind about it. Well, I haven't read anything about it. I don't know, but I don't know anything about the guy that made it. I didn't realize there was another version that got stolen in 2019. I'm pretty uneducated on this. I think it's funny, and the guy really only spent $2 million on it because it's $10 million worth of gold, so he got a deal.
12 million. He spent 12 million on it.
No,
12.1.
but the gold is worth 10, right?
Yeah, I mean, you'd still be
Yeah.
taking a loss if you wanted to melt. But I'm sure somebody like that is probably gonna put it in their home and utilize that thing. I would guess. I have no idea.
It's
I
like
mean,
if
I
I
don't know.
bought an ordinal for 1 Bitcoin, but I had 0.99 Bitcoin in the UTXO. How much did I spend on the ordinal? Like I only spent 0.01 Bitcoin on it because the UTXO that it came on is worth $99,000. You know what I mean? Like it's not like you bought a plastic toilet for $12 million. You bought a gold one. He can only be down $2 million, right? That's my point.
And there's the
Yeah.
the
Maybe
urinal.
that's the commentary. Hmm.
Well, the urinal was I mean, this was like early commentary on taking, everyday object and just it's kind of Warhol-esque, commercialized everyday. And this was really controversial at the time. To me, this is not nearly as controversial. And I think today, for me, this lacks depth. This lacks conceptual depth. I mean, this is to me like you're taking just a very expensive material, an expensive medium, and yeah, you're turning it into an everyday usable object when it's
But
like
like the
it is.
worst everyday usable object. And isn't that kind of the
Well,
point of the fountain too?
I mean, I think they say two different types of things. I think the first one was a commentary on what art should or should not be, and how it's really up to the observer to say, like, to interpret the art. And the second one, I think by using the gold, it it really is. I mean, I feel like it's feeding into maybe like how much people pay for art, and it's really just crap.
Right. If this wasn't made of gold, what would it be worth? What do you think it'd be valued at? I mean, giving it that base
$2
value
million.
of what the gold is. I mean, if it's made of porcelain like a normal toilet, then is it worth even 2 million? Could be
Well, the
worth.
banana is a Chiquita banana. You can get them for 99 cents or something, but that thing went for what, $4 million
But
or
but
something,
also
right?
the
Right,
banana
but
basically, but the banana had like a white paper behind it. Like the banana had like a whole conceptual white paper of it has to be replaced. It has to be like what it is and what it's speaking on. It's like I don't know
This
that this
doesn't have
had that.
anything like that.
I don't believe so.
Mm.
well, also exactly what Stephen is saying is that, like, if this was not made of gold, like it's been done. Like, what does this say even? So I feel like this has a commentary on, like, it seems to me frivolous. Um, I wonder who the buyer is. I wish that the buyer would, like, speak about why they collected this. Um, Maybe they're just going to melt down the gold and use it.
Here you go. It's actually right here. A toilet that fetched $12.1 million at auction was bought by Ripley's Believe It or Not.
That's pretty
Oh,
funny. That's even part of the performance art behind it, is having Ripley's Believe It or Not own the only
Maybe.
18 karat
Maybe.
gold toilet.
I mean,
Um,
maybe that's the whole basis behind it too, like you're saying.
the artwork makes several points through its existence and installation. I'm just going to read what the internet says because we haven't done this yet. Critique of Capitalism and Access. The most
yeah.
prominent commentary so far, that this is saying, is the increased divide between the wealthy and the poor by creating an object of immense luxury for the most mundane and necessary bodily function. The artist highlights the absurdity of extreme affluence in a world with significant poverty. That makes sense to me. There are more points, but it's up there.
The fact that there was only one bidder, I mean, tells me all I need to know.
It doesn't tell me anything because I don't think anyone has, like, no group of people can tell me that something is or isn't important. I have not looked deeply into this enough to know, but like if there were 10,000 bids on it, I would just think everybody was scrambling to buy a gold toilet. It wouldn't really inform me anything about it, but personally anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not impressed with it.
Like every movie I've gone to see that I went back for a second or third viewing in theaters, people left halfway through the movie. I think that generally speaking, the masses are the worst indicator of actual value. I don't mean
Uh-huh.
actual value, maybe. You know what I mean? Like
So like what?
depth.
So like which movie? Which
I don't
movie?
know.
I
Like
mean,
the last two I can remember that this happened at were House of a Thousand Corpses and Spring Breakers. I don't think people got either.
I don't even know those. I mean, I'm not a big movie person though. I don't really watch movies, but I
Well, these
don't,
are like
maybe I,
both works of art in one way or another. I mean, for their time, I think, anyway. And I think people went in thinking there was going to be some pop flick, and then they left halfway through. Literally, I was the only person left in the theater 3/4 of the way through the movie both times. But they're the only movies I went back for second and third sittings with because there was so much more to see. And I think
on
a
the
lot of the
first
time, that's how that works.
on the first day of Marfa, they showed a movie. Did you watch it?
No, I think I missed that. Was it like dude who's filmed 15 seconds of every day for a year or something?
No, it was like all over the world. It was like all different people. It was
Yeah, I missed
beautiful.
it. I meant
It
to
was
see
it
that. I
was
missed it.
it was beautiful, but it was very long. Like
It was like
in my
90
opinion,
minutes, right?
yeah. It could have been it could have been 30 minutes
Yeah.
in my opinion. So I was just curious what you thought of that. But
I didn't see
yeah.
it. And I think a lot of things can be shorter than they are. But sometimes, I don't know, maybe that was part of the statement. I really can't speak on that. I wish I would have seen it so I could have some idea
Well,
about it.
what I think is interesting, your point, Donnie, is that I get what you're saying and I agree with you, but there's something about a lot of people liking something that can somewhat determine its cultural significance, right? And maybe it's
Not to
not
me.
very deep, right? Maybe it's not very deep, but there's something to be said about this thing being able to pull at that string or whatever that affects a large population of people, right? Like you've tapped into something, right? Because we're all individuals, right? You've tapped into something that speaks to a wide range of people, right? Like let's just pretend it actually speaks to people and people aren't doing it for like ulterior motives, right? Which people can, right? They can get influenced in all different types of ways. But if it really does speak to them, right, on some profound level, I think there's something to that, right? Like you've touched on some core principle that
I don't think
affects people uniformly.
can
How
speak to the
how about
masses on a profound level. But go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
think you
Ray, go
can.
ahead. I don't think so.
how about memetics? We always talk about memetics. Like why is meme culture so big? Because there's something in there that taps into a lot of people. Like a lot of people see it and say, "Oh, that gets me," or "I get that." Like this represents me. So they want to repeat it and they want to. It's the copy pasta culture. And I know like a lot of what Donnie is about, and I respect this about you because you're an expert. But like that, you don't necessarily like to go with the flow, and you don't necessarily like what everybody else likes,
It's not
which
about that
which
though. It's like, I just want to be clear. It's not about me like being contrarian. I'm not contrarian. I just genuinely don't see value in most things that most people see value. You know, and I think it has something to do with me having brain damage and not knowing that I exist in a time and a place with a context, because I come from like nowhere. I don't have the ability to, like, you know how people who grew up when they were in high school and like Blink 182 was popular, like they still like to hear Blink 182 35 years later. But the people who are existing next to them, who are much younger later, don't feel the same thing when they hear Blink 182 because they weren't there for that. They weren't there for like the genesis of it. And some things don't translate through time like that. I don't have those. Like, and I'm not,
You
it's
know what
not, I'm not, I don't have, I can't remember. Like, I don't have like a style of music I think fondly of because I don't remember listening to it because I can't form memories. So like, I just, when a lot of people like something, I usually go, it like freaks me out. It's like Christmas. Like they kill the tree, put it inside, take the lights, put them outside, label gifts to each other that they're from somebody else, and like everyone gets in traffic jams, and they fucking everyone's returning shit all at the same time, buying shit. We all kill turkeys, millions of turkeys on the same day. It's fucking absurd. But people
so
like doing it because they did it. You know
yeah,
what I mean? I don't have any of that. So like, I don't hate
nostalgia.
Thanksgiving because I don't want to like what other people like. I hate it because it's stupid. And I just want to like eat a meal with my girlfriend. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to get into traffic. Like everyone's hammered right now. We almost died 3 times on the way to the natatorium to swim today because everyone's fucking wasted. Because of why? Christopher Columbus? What? Fuck out of
Well,
here.
yeah,
Anyway,
but
that's my
it's deeper than
general.
that
It's
because
not deeper than that.
it becomes it starts as that, right? But then it becomes tradition, right? So each
That's my
family
point.
has their own individual traditions, though, right?
Yeah,
So,
but they don't. They're all just doing what the fuck everyone does.
but
It's automatic. It's not even
they
thoughtful.
are, but they aren't. I think everybody creates their own traditions, right? And I think we all do things a little bit differently, right? And so like we have our Thanksgiving traditions and our family traditions and things like that, and that's where it becomes meaningful and special to at least to me, right? When you do things in your own special way with your family, and it's a tradition of, hey, we do this every year. Like that, those are the things I enjoy the most about the holidays. Is when you you do it in your own special way, and it becomes more meaningful at that point because you've put your stamp on it. Like this is how I do it.
I still, you know, it's
You still don't get it, and that's
no,
okay.
I just don't care. It's not like I don't get it. I get it. I don't have it. I don't
Yeah,
have that in me.
I,
I'm not capable. That's what
yeah.
I'm lacking the ability to say.
so
I'm not
Emmy,
capable of that.
you do like some like I'll say like how about OMBs? I know that you're a big OMB fan.
I bought OMBs 1 week before, or
I get
sorry,
I get it. You
but I'm
may
not.
have been
I didn't
the
like them
first
because other people like them. I didn't even sell them when
uh,
everyone was buying them. That's my point. You know.
no, right. And I'm not talking about the reason why you like something or you don't like something, but the fact is you like it and a lot of other people also like it.
Right.
So
It's
it
proof. Yeah.
and it has become a commentary on our culture in ordinals. Like OMB is a huge it's a huge stamp on what ordinals is about, and like it is a part of ordinals history. And so like I'm not saying that you would ever like something because other people liked it, but there is something to be said about something in this world that taps into a part of humans that like something,
Sure.
and everybody
Oh,
finds
sure.
value in it. Um,
But it doesn't mean there's not value if nobody likes it. That's what I was trying to push
no,
on at the toilet. You know.
100%, because we are the ones who define what value is, and if I think that um, there's like a weed on the street that looks like this is actually a true story. When growing up, I always liked the little flowers that grew in between the cracks of the sidewalk, and I would pick them and I really liked them. And I know like a lot of like mean girls at school would say things to me like, that's a weed, why do you like that, that's and but and it made me like actually feel bad about liking it, but I've never stopped liking those types of flowers, and I don't know why it's beeping. Yeah, but like I attribute value to it, so I don't destroy them when I see them. If they're in my yard and other people would pull them up, I let them grow. But that's with everything. Like if you attribute value to something, then it's valuable, and that's it.
Damn right.
Well, yeah, I mean that goes
Darn
back to
toot.
the gold, right? You're talking about gold. I mean, gold has been given value because it's been used as a store of value. Like historically, diamonds have value because De Beers marketed them to be of this thing of value, which really
They did
don't.
well. They did
Did
well.
De Beers did a good job. And the thing is that neither of those are finite resources. You know, we continue to find gold, we continue to make diamonds. We make diamonds now in labs, right? And we also still mine them. De Beers is probably not happy about that. We're making them in labs, but they still do a pretty good job, marketing that. Gold, I don't think needs any marketing. You know, gold has a multi-trillion-dollar value, and it's at its highest ever and continues to go up. And we keep finding it. So, but these are things that I guess have that precedence that have this globally accepted value, right? We've given these things this value, and kind of everybody accepts them as valuable, right? You can't buy it for less, so that's what it is. The thing about the art is it could be worth nothing, right? I mean, if that clip sold for $500,000 because only the only person that wanted to buy it had $500,000, they bought it for 500. But this guy said, I got the money, I'm gonna buy it, and that's what gave it that value. So it is an interesting kind of like juxtaposition of this globally accepted value, like what culture says something is worth, and then what somebody says something is worth, which then give this thing that specific value, right? So the
Well,
Klimt is now worth $236 million.
I had a
I don't.
question though. Oh, go on.
We
I
go
was gonna
one
say
at
I
one at a
don't.
time, though.
Got it.
I was gonna say I don't. Yeah, I wouldn't even say it's worth 236
Well, it
million
would be to the next
dollars.
buyer, most likely, right?
Maybe, maybe not. Right? It's so subjective, right? Like especially when you start getting stuff that amount, right? Like there's only there's such a small percentage of people that can even buy something like that, and so you're I don't know, right? Because I've never been in that position. God, hopefully one day I am. But like to be in the position to where like it probably doesn't even matter, right? Like 236, like 100 million, like at that point it probably doesn't matter much. And so are you even thinking about it as an investment at that point? Like probably not. Maybe you are, but probably not. And so, you could want to sell it in a year. Maybe the next person wants to buy it, it's only 100 million, right? Like I you are so far above in this echelon that like there's so few people that value I think could change from day to day a huge amount.
Well,
Is
I mean, yeah,
is
go
it
ahead, Harmony.
one of the reasons why it is worth that amount because the previous owners held it for so long in their collection and because his works don't come up for sale usually?
Probably.
So I mean, I don't know like how long it would like when the last sale was and how much that was, but I want to say, you know, maybe even a century. Like I have no clue, but like this I think that this kind of thing moves hands not even as an investment, but maybe as a status symbol and maybe as people seeing it as like safekeeping of generational worth and value and that like the next time it sells could be generations from now and who knows how much our currency is worth then, but I would assume that at that point it would probably be worth even more.
Yeah, it's. I mean, historically, people like to put large sums of money for whatever reason into art, and these are one of one priceless works of art, right? They're given that value because somebody gave them that value, and I would like to think in the traditional world, this sold at a very notable auction house to a notable buyer, obviously, who's very wealthy. Like these things set great precedents for the next sale, right? If it sells in a year or it sells in 20 years, it's probably going to go back to an auction house, which has this history of selling at an auction house previously for this value. It would be very unlikely that it would sell for less. And that's going like historically based on how these things work, right? It sets this precedence. That's what this thing is worth. And the next time, if it ever sells again, if it ever changes hands again, most likely it will sell for more. Now the toilet's an interesting one, right? Because the toilet, now you're talking about precious metal, right? Yes, the artist has, set precedents. The banana, it's increased in value. It's changed hands. It last sold for what, $6 million. It's conceptual. It's however you want to feel about it. The toilet, again, now that's even different because again, you're talking about the precious metal value. So what if gold goes back to $1,800 an ounce? What is the toilet then worth? Is it still worth that gold value and then it drops in value? or is it still going to be worth the $12 million that they paid for it? What do you guys think?
I would even think that that is not going to go for sale again. If you're saying that Ripley's, believe it or not, bought it, like the only way that that is going up for sale is if Ripley's, believe it or not, like goes totally bankrupt and they have to liquidate all their assets.
Oh, there's a pun in there.
Yeah.
Never mind. Sorry. Hold on.
Liquidate.
There you go. Assets.
And
I don't-
liquidate.
yeah.
Come on.
I wonder if they're going to let people use that, or is it just going to be on display?
I'm
Oh,
sure.
That'd be a good way to
stop.
recoup the money.
Yeah, tickets to use the toilet.
Yeah, I'd pay $10.
Somebody
Easy.
do the math. How many butts have to sit on that toilet to recoup the money?
Take a
At
zero
what
off the
price?
number, and that's how many people at $10 a person.
Yeah, it's the extra
1.2
add-on to your
million
ticket.
users. Now, I wonder how many fixes you'd have to do, how many like gold
10
wing
bucks.
nuts you'd have to reproduce after the seat goes loose, you know? Maybe just
Boy.
take the seat off, let people use it that way. That's probably the safest way. You could actually pawn the seat, get some money back.
Yeah. That's what I think.
But
if
then you're
somebody tried to
destroying the
steal
art.
seat.
Maybe it's just further commentary. You know?
Maybe.
Isn't sitting on it and using it destroying the art?
No, it's
Yeah.
metal. They can polish that back up.
Maybe that was the intent. That was the intent.
It is
wasn't
meant to be
He was
used. I
letting
mean,
people use it, wasn't he?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, toilets don't last forever.
Well,
They
a gold
last
toilet,
a long time.
a
This
gold
will.
toilet could well, not forever, but it could last a very long time. And even the parts, like, it's very unlikely that they're going to degrade, right? It's gold, right? And if they do, yeah, you can replace them and construct them as it's a standardized toilet. It's a toilet, like it's just a toilet made of gold. So yeah.
Because all the hardware in the tank would probably be normal, but like, yeah, like everything else would function.
I hope it's not. Well, I guess the plug
It's
would
gotta
have to
be.
be rubber
That's
or
what I'm
have a
saying.
rubber
Yeah,
seal.
like that would have to be rubber and all that. But so that would be.
Oh, I want to see how
functional.
the sausage is made in this case. I
But
like the
everything else
idea
would
of
be.
just,
Well, all you're
thinking
doing is dropping
it's-
water and it goes down through the hole. I mean, it's pretty friggin' basic. It's just water
I don't want to
pressure.
see behind the curtain. No, I just want to think
I
the
mean,
whole thing.
and it's also like a standard toilet that you'd see like I don't know, like in a it's like a commercialized toilet. It's not like a
Well, I think that's
consumer.
the point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, probably. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little added commentary
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Very commercialized. Yeah.
Yeah. Boy, I'm looking at this. It's very shiny. Very shiny
so
toilet.
shiny.
As far as, my final bits of commentary in the toilet, I don't really have any. It's a toilet, it's commentary on something that I could never afford to buy. I think it's a fun statement of the dramatic wealth divide. And I don't think that it's necessary. I think maybe it can spur another conversation about that wealth divide, which is fun. And also we've been talking about it for a long time, which kind of indicates that it does have some sort of draw,
Yeah, excellent point. And speaking of that, I guess we can kind of segue on to some other things that have been going on. You had some things that you've been noticing, and maybe you could give us the lowdown on, Donnie, within the space or within the digital
Oh,
art
yeah.
world.
Yeah, people have been, digital art is like down everywhere. Everybody's like worried about its future and scrambling to save their bags and stuff. And some of the larger names in the ETH space have been talking about how, that basically, talking about what people should do and how they should value things and how they value things, how they ought to value things, whether or not people should buy things and where we are in whatever cycle is in existence. And Pepe Nardo recently, who's like one of the OG Pepe dudes, and I think has been a part of the larger art market for quite some time, replied to Redbeard with the idea that it was a criticism, but also a respectful criticism towards the digital art market, that it kind of doesn't know where it's come from, and that it's basically redoing zombie formalism, which, from my understanding, I'm not expert on this. That's why it says I'm an expert, because I'm not on anything. From my understanding, go look this up, everybody, if you're listening to this. Zombie formalism is essentially finding young artists who are doing something that could be viewed as valuable, even if it is hollow and lacking any real substance behind it. But you'd like, as a buyer with lots of money and influence, you can buy these things for really inflated prices and sell them for more inflated prices because people trust your input on this. So you can basically make new art stars. And people, I forget when this was happening, probably in like the mid 2010s or something, or even earlier, actually. I think Who's the dude that the Aeons collection looks like? What's the
Basquiat.
Yeah, Basquiat. I think Basquiat's an example of this, or like people, some of his contemporaries were examples of this. You find people who have like brushstrokes or something, but they're lacking a lot of the context that blue chip, real blue chip, big boy blue chip art has. But it looks kind of like it. So they're like, look at this, it's $100 million. You should buy for 150 million. And all these like new artists who were just taken under the wings of these really fancy rich people were like risen to fame, kind of in a shallow manner, I guess. So if you look at that happened before in trad art, you look at a lot of what's going on in digital art at the moment. It's a lot of new participants who can easily be hoodwinked into thinking something is more valuable than potentially it would ought be in longer periods of time. So Pepinardo's stance on this was that we're just kind of doing this again. We're just redoing zombie formalism digitally, and what do you expect? You know, so
Well,
not to
I
say
don't.
nothing has value.
No, I understand that, but isn't that how, most art has always been?
Consensus, I guess. Yeah, maybe this is
Yeah.
fast tracked in a way though, where like some things sell for $10 in the 1600s, and then or the equivalent or whatever, and then in the 1800s they sell for 10 million, and then in the 2000s they sell for 20 bazillion or whatever. You know,
I
there's
mean,
like a
I mean, look at what Peggy Guggenheim did. She made sure that all of her friends' art got sold and that it got sold to the right
sure.
people. And most artists from that time period we think are great artists because she championed their work and she collected their work. Um, I feel like that's something people that that's market makers. I mean, that is how our whole system works, and it always has worked like that. I don't think it's I don't see the connection of how that's the downfall of digital art.
I don't think it's the downfall of digital art. I think his point is just that we're lifting things up and creating context around them that couldn't possibly have been formed yet. Where like you look back at Impressionism, like the early pieces of Impressionism, and no one gave a shit at the time, but 100 years later, everybody looks back and goes, "Wow, that they started that. That's like where that thing happened." And it was during a time where this kind of paint was really difficult to get, or these kind of dyes were really difficult to get, and the sort of texture was uncommon or difficult to achieve, or whatever. I think his point maybe is that we're adding cultural historic context to this before that could possibly have been achieved because we're still in it. We don't know what's important because we haven't gone 60 years past it, you know.
I mean, but also people, we have this avenue to reach more people at a quicker rate. So like, yes, 100 years ago, people were not able to see a piece of art or to see something that was new or had cultural significance because it took months and months to get from one place to another place. So and some people haven't even seen it in their would never even see something in their lifetime. Right now you can reach someone across the world, you can gain consensus at like a much quicker rate.
Doesn't that just
Another
mean that
thing,
more people don't get the context though, or more people fabricate the context? I don't think
I
that
mean,
means time has gone by and a movement is recognized from the future if more people see
I
it.
mean, maybe, but I'll say this, like the digital artists who are really successful in the space are the ones who are good at performance art, who know how to tell a story. Let's talk about Beeple. Let's talk about X Copy. Let's talk about ACK.
Those are modern
All
entertainers, though. I think that's different than long-term art value or contextual value, right?
maybe yes, maybe no. Like, why you don't think that their art has like any type of long-term value as just their art?
We don't
I'm
know
just
that yet.
saying we couldn't possibly know
Yeah.
because we're not there yet. You know, I think that's his point exactly, that we're attributing this historic value. We're like sitting here making digital art and we're like, no one's ever done this. This is perfect. It fixes every problem. It's the only thing in time this has ever happened. And CryptoPunks are the fucking best. And like, meanwhile, in 100 years, even if they're still around, maybe no one will give a shit about them because really this context that we think is here and happening isn't. And I don't know if it's possible for us to know that or say it or even
I'll,
decide
Of
it. You know?
of
I'll tell
course
you,
it's impossible. Yeah, go kinetics.
I'll tell you my concerns. I've thought about this a lot, right? I think you have to take a step back and you have to look at Web3 in general, right? Like what drives Web3? Money, right? So a lot of this is monetarily motivated. And while I don't know if we can know the true answer to this, like how many sales are monetarily motivated or because people actually like it, right? Um, I don't know, but I would assume probably there's a pretty high proportion of those that are monetarily motivated, right? Not saying you don't like it, right? But the driver is you're hoping to make some money off of it, and you like it, and that helps. And so, um, uh, not taking away from many of those artists, right? Like they've put in the work and they have good quality work, but like how much of that is contributed to a lot of these artists like being there in the beginning, right? So they had the notoriety in the beginning, they had the following in the beginning, right? And they followed that up, and then the monetary, the you know the money generation has helped propel that. And so there there's a lot of art that we claim has cultural significance in this space, like all chains, that I look at it and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like that's what I think. Because I don't, and maybe it's just I don't understand it, and maybe that's possible, right? We all have our own things, but like there's people out there like making claims for like this the cultural significance of some of these artworks. I'm like, I don't get it, and maybe it's just I don't get it, but I'm like, one, it just doesn't make sense for what was made, and two, like how could you even possibly make such a claim? And
But
so it's all, a lot of it's marketing, right? Like these people know how to market shit, right? And people, and like, so then it makes you wonder like bag bias, and are people trying to push it because they've bought it or they bought five, or like there's motivations all over the place. So I'm very skeptical, and this is just how I've learned to be over the years. Like I go in very skeptical, wanting to like validate it. Like, okay, well, like what's your reasoning behind saying this? Like, where's the data behind it, right? I'm a big data guy. Like that's what I've done for my career. Like I want to look at the data behind it. So like there's all these pieces that I look at. I'm like, it doesn't always line up for me.
can't we say that about traditional art as well, though? Haven't
I,
you ever been to a museum and you see something and you're like, what is this? Like, why is this here?
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's not. I'm just, but yes, but Web3 and trad art is 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 very different, I think.
Yes and
well,
no. Yeah, go
yeah.
on,
Yes and
Steve.
no.
No,
Yeah.
I was just gonna say we started the show talking about these astronomical values given to these works of art, right? And it's definitely it's like we started out talking about a whole monetary basis. Maybe the difference is like you're talking specifically about quick returns, quick financial gain on something within the digital Web3 NFT space. But still, there's a strong argument that could be made that the basis of the traditional art world and that whole marketing element of like Sotheby's and these auction houses, how they market and sell and promote these works, like there is definite parallels, and there's kind of like this underlying case that could be drawn, like it's a lot about money, right? A lot of the people that are even buying those things don't necessarily even care about the works of art if they're just trying to like hide hundreds of millions of dollars, you know? It's an opportunity to hide that money. So a
Most
lot
things
of it
I've
is
seen in
not.
museums, though, have some sort of statement behind them. And if you look at it and you don't get it at first, that's fine. You know, like it doesn't
I,
really take away from it, I don't think.
I think a lot of the big Web3 digital art also have a statement behind it or some type of cultural
Yeah,
commentary that people connect to, or else
totally. I'm not
why
saying there's
would
not
it be
art. Yeah, I don't think that's
connect?
what he was saying. You know, he wasn't
Yeah.
saying that like there's not art. He's saying that zombie formalism is well and alive after its peak in the Web3 space because we attribute a lot of value to things that maybe we don't fully understand as being kind of hollow. Not that all of them are, because some of them clearly are, but there's like, you know, how many things need to be 47 ETH that have not gone, you know, 4 years hasn't passed since they were made, right? Is a cartoon of a penguin. Like,
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
know, I don't know. It's
right.
a
I
question.
mean, that's in our regular life too. It's like, why do people collect, tchotchkes? Like you said, why do people have that kitchen sign in their kitchen? Like to most of us, that's worthless, but to some
Mhm.
people, whatever it is, I feel like people do that in their life. Like, everybody is a collector of something, and yeah.
Sure.
It's
I think his point was that the digital atmosphere that we live in that attracted a whole bunch of completely art unaware gamblers were an easy
Yeah.
bunch to trick into thinking that there was like artistic value
I always
behind
looked at
something
it
that
like,
maybe there isn't.
right. I always looked at it like this though. Like I could be because I love collecting digital art. It makes me happy. Like there's certain pieces that I have that I probably are not worth anything. I would never sell them because I look at them and they make me happy. They tell some type of story that touches me. And I think about how many people, buy junk all the time from the dollar store or from, whatever it is, and waste, thousands of dollars on buying junk to fill their homes with. And I want to waste thousands of dollars on digital art that lives in my crypto wallet. So I mean, if that means I was tricked, maybe, but if it makes me happy, then what's the difference?
Well, see, I find I agree with you, but I guess with the art that you like, right? You're probably only willing, people have an amount of money that they're willing to spend on things, right? And so I would imagine you, or like anybody, right? Like there's probably a certain amount that you're willing to spend on something, right? Based upon like you just like it, right? Like let's say there's this art collection out there and you really like one of the pieces just completely stands out to you, right? But let's say they're all going for $100 a piece, but the one that really stands out to you is $1,000. You're gonna buy that $1,000 one? You'd be like, yeah, I'm not locking up my fucking BTC in that for $1,000. The floor is 100. Are you gonna buy that?
Depends.
You're probably not, right? You're probably not.
I am the worst, by the way, because I'm the person who, instead of buying the floor, whatever, I will go through the collection and I
I
will
do
pick the
too.
one that speaks to me. And that one is like 3 times as much, and I'll never be able to recoup my money on it. And it's not worth any more than the floor one, but can't, I can't, like, I hate buying stuff that I don't like because I've done that as well. I've bought digital art I don't like because I got caught up in the game of it. And
I think
oh
that's the point he's trying to make. I think
yeah,
that's exactly what you just said is the point. It's not that people aren't buying stuff they like and then they're not valid. If they're buying stuff they like, it's valid. If you like it, buy it. It's
yeah,
yours. Like there's no commentary to be made on that. But there is commentary to be made on is people buying one piece of a 4,000 piece generative collection that somebody hit a button
right.
on and it made 4,000 and now they're all 250 grand. That maybe is not what is going to be happening later.
Got
I
it.
think is
Yeah,
all he's
that
saying.
that makes sense.
Right.
Oh, my dog
Right.
is here. Come here.
Yeah. Yep.
Really.
And yeah, and it's always been like that. And then it's like, where does the val where does the
We've never been able
val
to make 4,000 pieces of art with the click of a button before. Maybe that's a new thing that is very exploitable in this modern version of
yeah.
digital formalism,
And
right?
like where's
Yeah.
like the like where value is such a friggin' open-ended term, but like it's so
Well, I'm not
funny
talking about what we
because
should value them at. I'm talking about what people are, because everyone's bitching on the timeline that they can't get rid of these at the price they bought them for. They bought them
right,
Well,
to get rid of them, and now the price is going
right,
down because of
right,
that's the problem. That's the
right,
Right.
problem.
I think that's the issue because the art
right.
market is down at the moment. So this commentary is arising, and I can't speak for Pepinardo because I don't fucking know what he was saying. I mean, I know what I think he was saying, but it seems to me that he's saying, "What do you expect? You got tricked into thinking that this is culturally important when we couldn't possibly know yet if it is. So you want to get rid of it for 37 ETH after you bought it for 36, and its floor is 20 because everyone's realizing you got duped. Maybe. That is a sentence you could say. I don't know if I believe it or if I think it. I'm
So,
not educated enough to.
something to also consider in all of this conversation is like the previous rise of like silk screening, production runs, limited production runs, where artists say it's enough when you can produce a work infinitely, you can keep creating it. It's not a click of a button per se, but when you have, you can keep running them off. You can run
But
them through
that
a
solves a
printer.
problem. pre-digital, that solved the problem because you couldn't even view the work unless you had an edition of it or a copy of it somehow, unless you printed it on a home printer and framed it, which you can never get the quality out of it. So if
Right.
you wanted a high quality look at something, say the Mona Lisa, for example, because it's a really easy one to go for, you can't buy it. Nobody can have it in their house. So pre-digital, pre-computers, you had to buy some sort of an edition. Wouldn't be an edition, but if this were a modern artist, it would either be a numbered edition and it would be more expensive because it'd be made of better materials and like guaranteed to be whatever the fuck. Or you buy something in a tchotchke shop and it looks like the Mona Lisa, you hang it up in your house because you can't see it otherwise. Now, everyone can view all of this from anywhere. Nobody has to own any of it. So it does bring up new weird questions about value,
Right. Well, it's also
right?
super easy to sell too versus any of those
No friction.
tangible works. It's like there's friction for the sale versus you can sell something in the digital, the Web3 NFT space, ordinal, whatever digital work on whatever blockchain. You can list it for as low as you want to list it. Eventually, it's going to go low enough where somebody's going to buy it. The same thing can happen in the traditional space, but it takes a significantly more amount of time, right? You have to find someone who's going to sell it. You got to find a buyer. You got to go through an auction house. You got to, evaluate the work of art, certify it. It's like, in this case, and there it's done. And then that opens the doors for a whole lot of, gambling, basically. Gambling on
Stephen,
art.
you know more, you would know more about this than I would, but this is my question. Isn't it in the traditional art world when prints are sold, isn't it usually like some type of like an artist doesn't usually sell their own prints. It's like some type of publishing house that buys the rights to the art and then they print a bunch of
It,
them and then they sell them.
it can go either way. I can go either way. I mean, I know artists. Yeah, they do their own runs of prints. And they do their
Mhm.
own silk screening. They do their own run. They have a
Well,
certain
well
number.
now,
Yeah,
but I'm saying classically, like that wasn't something an
you're talking
artist
about
had.
like a artist that's passed or somebody that's still living,
No,
or
I mean
either or.
whatever. It's like not everybody had the access to silk screening at a time or printing a bunch of their art. So usually wasn't it like that artist made their one piece and tried to sell it or tried to show it or whatever it was. And then there was these other people who were kind of making money off the artist's back because they would buy rights to the art and then sell the prints.
Probably, and you could probably say that Andy Warhol was the one that popularized uh, silk screening, right? By reproducing his works that way. Um, and also again that commentary on like the commercial value basically of like everyday objects or the value of everyday objects in a creative term or creative world, however you want to put that. But yeah, the focus obviously I think, and maybe it was photography was that kind of that pivot. You have landscape painters capturing a scene, and then the ability to capture a scene with the click of a button, and it's all these artists I think they're going to be put out of business, and maybe that was like kind of the segue.
That
I'd
was
have
like
to.
the AI scare.
Yeah, it's very similar. The parallels are right aligned.
Very funny. Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's a good question though. But it's probably been popularized since Warhol and that whole like and the ability to also like artists monetizing their work through licensing, right? It's like the archive that I worked in. I mean, Bob became very wealthy from licensing his work, to history books and to publications and publishing his own books. And typically, a lot of money can be made when you license your work out for usage, right? Even in the like acting production world, like a lot of the money is made on the usage end, not on the actual capture or shooting. So, yeah, I wouldn't know when it actually started, but I do know there are artists today like who produce their own, runs, silkscreen prints, so on.
Right. Right.
I don't know if that answered your question.
No, yeah, I was just trying to compare it to what, now we have all these tools, so we can basically do it on our own. And at a click of a button, people can make, 30,000 of their art piece.
Yeah, and let's see. I mean, it's silk screens go back to, and I'm looking up the information here now. Ancient East Asia moving to Europe via the Silk Road, then revolutionized in the early 20th century with new technologies like photographic stencils and squeegees. Popularity soared during the Great Depression through government projects like works progress administration, and in the 1960s when artists like Andy Warhol elevated it to major art form. So yeah, basically aligning with what I was
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
I guess I get a gold star. There's my thing. Yeah, go
Who's a good boy?
ahead.
Who took your boy?
You, Steve.
Yeah, kinetics. You were gonna. Sorry, we got you. You need a second. It's okay. Take a breath.
I'm looking for my dog. Like,
Oh.
you're looking at me like, what? What'd I
don't
do?
know. Are you okay?
He's silly like that.
He is also a good boy.
He is a good boy. Yeah,
I agree.
he's a good boy.
Were you gonna chime in on that? Or?
No,
Oh, I
I
thought
was
you had
giving you a
something.
gold star.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that was me putting it on your little gold star board.
Oh,
I'm starting to think about, okay, so now, yeah, we can produce like collections of 1,000, 10,000, infinite runs of the exact same thing. Because even within the printing and silk screening and reproduction process, there will be slight variations. Like one of the artists, like I notably have purchased works from, he would sell his like off prints, right? And to me, those have more value. Like where the print, the
Yeah.
slightly off on certain colors, and there was like a slight skew. I'm like, I want that. He'll sell it for like $10. I'm like, oh, send that to me. I want it. I did like the same thing, the exact copy. But even within that process, even within digital printing, there will be slight variations. Like maybe not discernible to like anybody or the everyday eye. Or maybe it's so slight, maybe nobody's even going to ever notice. But in that tangible reproduction process, there will inevitably be some sort of variation. But in this digital world or in like generative works, you click a button and you can produce it infinitely. Well, yeah, where does that value lie, and what makes those works like unique and interesting to
I think
collectors?
I've been a big fan of long form generative work for a long time. I like short form is a more concise version of it that has more of like a the artist's fingerprint on it because they've chosen the things that they think represent the algorithm the best. I really like the idea of leaving that up to chance and number, and we can kind of look at like a 10K generative collection as exploring as many possible outputs. It's like the lowest number of possible outputs that can be clean and completely out of the reach of understanding. Like if 10,000 of something, you can't get a hold of that. You don't know what's in there. You'll never see enough of them that one of them won't eventually surprise you as long as you live. It's not possible for our brains to do that, I don't think. So like long form generative does have a place in the world because you can fully express, like if let's say you made 100,000 instead of 10,000, not different. No, still no one will ever be able to grasp. If you make 5,000, maybe people will start to catch on. But we like round numbers. We like lots of zeros and a one at the beginning. So this is like the cleanest, smallest, huge number that you can fully explore these like very intricate algorithms with, I think. So there is something to the 10K idea. I'm just, the value is, again, it's up to the person who buys it.
Yeah, I would say I agree with you. I think, a lot of it comes down, well, I think the 10K number comes down to number of variables, traits, whatever you want to call it in the collection, right? Because the more traits you have, or the more variables you have, or the different things within it, right? You're just going to produce a bigger number of outputs. And so the 10K makes sense, I think, depending upon the number of traits or outputs or whatever you have. I think that needs to be meaningful. So for me, like when I was, so my first collection, Light Waves, that was just like straight long form random. Like I just put in the percentages and like it was just, I just based it off randomness and you got what you got. Like that's how I wanted to do that. I wanted to explore it through that. And then the next one, Radio Waves, I really wanted to curate it because I just wanted to try curating. That was a very different beast, like very different. And the way I went about that is I still did randomness, but I seeded it. So I could run through all the outputs and then I could copy the seeds for the ones I really liked. So I went through, I don't even know, 20,000 plus probably outputs. I can't even tell you. I mean, it was just an infinite number. And to your point, Donnie, like you got to run through a shit ton when you have larger outputs like that, because it takes you going through thousands and thousands and thousands of outputs just to even start to understand what's different, because you'll just start to see these differences popping up and you're like, once you've gone through thousands, like I noticed, like once I was over like 10,000, 15, 20,000, like at that point you've seen so many, you start to see the little nuances in them. And so I was able to, I mean, I could quickly point them out, like, oh my God, that's different. Now it would long stretches in between, right? Because you're doing, it's like more common, more common, more common, and then you hit a really different one. And so I think that's what's really cool about generative art, especially long form. Like there's these little nuggets in there of all these just amazing, crazy outputs that you would have never expected, but you got to go through a shit ton to get there. And so that's what I like. Like if you do that and then you see it and you pull them out to curate, like you could curate a really, really cool collection. Um, but you have to be mindful and meaningful as you go through it.
Can you guys tell the difference between a big generative project that was curated and one that wasn't, and one that
Usually in the
somebody just let?
size. Typically, it's
No,
in the
I mean,
size.
but no, I'm just saying by looking at the art. Now, all of the people here are very intentional people, but there's definitely people who have released generative collections that are not intentional people. That they had an idea for something, they let the algorithm take it, and they released it. Maybe they didn't even go through it. I'm saying on the collector, on the viewers side, because now we're acting as the viewers. Can you tell the difference between that and somebody who was super intentional with their curation?
You
I,
know, no, I don't think so.
I would, yeah, you have to look at the code because you just don't know. Where for me, it's less about that, and it's more about now I can tell, is this some basic ass code? Did you do some copy pasta shit, right? You tweak two things and then you're pushing it out. Like I've seen so much generative art now, and I've just looked at what's out there because I've really tried to learn about my craft and what other people are doing, and I try to learn and grow. So I've seen so much now that I know what else is out there. And so I see people putting things out that is just a remake. And I guess there's nothing wrong with remakes, right? Like you can turn things, you can remake something and do your own twist on it, right? But I'm looking at like, well, what's your meaningful twist to it? And so for me, that's more of what I can tell is like, did you really do something that's different and novel, right? Or are you just like pushing something out that's pretty low effort? And I think like you can tell that a lot. At least I can. I can tell that a lot easier than is this curated or not, because you don't know, because that's all based on their traits. Like if they have 3 traits and it's all like the same shit over and over and over, it doesn't matter if they curate it or not. You're just going to see the same outputs over and over and over, right? Unless you've meaningfully done something different in the code, you're never going to be able to curate something meaningful and different. And so I think that's impossible to tell, but the other isn't.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate the level of like curation there. I mean, for me, in the two generative collections that I could have infinitely created, you know, so Cosmogenesis, right? That was my first generative art collection. So, um, to give it uniqueness for each piece and each color palette, because they're all obviously kind of basically the same layout, same function. And the core of Bitcoin, SHA-256, that's the algorithm that Bitcoin runs on. So 256 pieces, my first collection, like the ethos of life, that all made sense. And then the follow-up collection is 512 pieces. But to that point, for unreleased collection of ecstasy, to give it that extra oomph, right? I added in rarity traits. Now, but I'm not going to curate it beforehand. I'm going to let that controlled chaos take place. I'm going to basically give it a seed and let it run its course, and it's going to come to life on Bitcoin the same way that Cosmogenesis did. But yeah, to give each piece uniqueness, I think that is kind of essential versus, there are a couple of things that definitely come to mind, like Runestone, right? How many rune stones are there? Like 100? I don't even.
That's different. That's not
I mean,
about the art at all.
no, it's not about
It's
that, but
nothing.
it is from a very notable artist who created the work, right? So,
Right, sure.
I mean, so I'm not saying that it's
No
art,
one's
but
buying those because of the artist, though. Nobody even knows the artist's name.
I do,
I do.
and I
You
know
Yeah,
him,
yeah,
know
I
who?
do. Of
and
Yeah.
I
course,
know
that's why
him.
we're on this fucking
Oh
thing. That's why
yeah.
we're
Yeah,
talking. But
I
the
posted his
idea
work
that people are
recently,
buying
actually.
a copy of 1 in 120,000 copy for $200 is absurd. They're looking to get another token airdropped. And when you bring tokens into it, it's the conversation's over. It's
No,
not
I
even
agree
worth
with you.
having.
Yeah, yeah.
Can I ask you guys a question? How are you guys collecting art on Bitcoin right now?
Fuck yeah, avidly.
Good.
I wish I had more BTC to
Well,
buy
I don't have
shit I
any money,
really
but
want right now.
Yeah,
with
Yeah,
the
like
money I
that.
have left,
I got
yes,
no money.
Nobody has any
avidly.
money.
I did, and then I bought
Oh,
art and
bro.
shit, and now
This
I'm
is bid
broke.
time. This is bid season. You
Mm,
put in idiot low bids on stuff, and people get spooked
yeah.
by things, and they throw, some $500 to $1,000 thing into your wallet for $100, and that's what I'm hoping for here and there. I've caught a few, but I'm not doing that because I'm trying to be a shark. I'm doing it because I'm not rich enough to just go around buying art.
Yeah. You're buying old stuff or are you buying anything new?
Both,
Yeah.
both. I've got a bunch of the bid art stuff. I got a viewfinder. I minted a bunch of U waves when Hal put those out, so a bunch of recent things that I thought were important. And I put bids down on artists that I've been following for a really long time that I haven't been able to afford their pieces, just in the off
Nice.
chance that someone's like, got to get out today
Yeah.
for nothing.
Totally.
It's
It
both
is.
old and new.
So this was I was just pulling this up because this was when I first was introduced to Leo Coyote's work. So he's the creator of the runestone, and just to give you an idea, like this is marble sculpture from 2019, and he's been sculpting for a long. It's just his journey is also just very interesting, being this classically trained sculptor to then create that infinitely created. Just the runestone is just. I mean, his work. He's also an incredibly nice person, very talented, obviously. Um, but
Well,
yeah,
I heard him speaking about ordinals, and I think he compared his work, his like physical work in stone to ordinals because of the immutability, right?
right. That's why he did his stones collection,
Yeah,
which is very cool.
Yeah.
Unique work and those generative.
the whole like etching idea. I think it was something like that or something. Kind of like
Yeah.
etching in the stone, etching that. Yeah, I learned about him through Asprey a couple of years ago. I think he was doing something with Asprey, and yeah, always really enjoyed him since. But yeah, super nice guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
really,
think I
really
met
nice
him
guy.
prior to 2019, but those works were from 2019. The hipsters in stone, all were sold. His work sells very well in the traditional space. So, um, yeah, and he does some really large scale pieces too, culturally relevant. Like Superman, Batman, cool stuff.
I am
Yeah,
Batman.
I am Batman.
I am
Um,
Batman.
Speaking of culture, yeah, I mean, is there cultural value and relevance to those large scale collections? And this is a question. I'm not giving any input.
Yeah, I think so.
I
I
think
mean,
so,
like,
some of
look at like,
some of
yeah, look
them.
at like
Yeah.
fluoroforms. I think, I there's something there's something really cool about a 10K collection to me. Like, I want to do one at some point. I'm going to do a generative 10K collection, and I'll probably do it like free or like next to nothing because I don't want it to be looked at as um, like an extraction or moneymaker. Like, I just genuinely want to do one because that's a shit ton of outputs, and it's just different. And so it'd be so fun to just do something so different. Like, I like doing different things, and so I would love to do it just for that. So at some point, I would like to do one, but I think there are. I think it all comes down to the intent and what are you doing? Because like, if you can do a 10,000 piece collection and make them all feel different and unique, like that says a lot. Like that to me, that is huge.
I
Yeah.
don't think I would ever do a 10K collection. I feel like feel like after doing my 369 pieces, I actually want to go even smaller. Like,
Well, you're different. You're in kind of a different place. Like,
yeah.
if you're gonna do
Oh yeah,
poems, that's a
yeah.
shit ton of poems.
Well, no, for sure. No, but I'm saying even playing with like imagery as well. Like I don't know if I don't know if that speaks to me doing that. I think it's different maybe when you're only playing when you're playing with something with a different medium. Like your art is your code, right? And you are getting better and better at coding and at your outputs. Like I like that. Although I do want to learn more about coding, I don't think that I don't know. It just doesn't speak to me. The 10K
Well, today it
doesn't.
doesn't. Today it doesn't because you don't
No,
know. Like you'll
no,
grow
for
in this
sure.
journey, and like you could be like, huh, I want to tackle that. Like, and you never know. That's what's so much fun.
Maybe I don't know. I feel like I see my journey going in a different direction.
It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be your medium. I'm not going to make anything out of
Yeah.
clay. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter, right? I
Why
don't like
not?
clay. I just don't feel
Come
like it.
on,
I don't have a
Donnie.
spinny wheel.
I'll
Have
use the
let
wheel.
me, speaking of clay, let me show you. This is my favorite
Looks
thing my
fun.
daughter
It's not
made
my
me.
thing.
The wheel is fun.
Hold on.
Yeah, it's fun.
If I can't
It
do it
is.
from this chair, I'm not doing it.
Oh
Okay.
my
I
God.
I like touching things.
Look,
Ooh,
look at this little
cool.
thing my
Oh,
daughter made me. It's like a little
Yeah.
chicken
an
bird thing
Angry
with a
Bird?
heart.
Yeah, it's like an
Yeah,
Angry Bird.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like
cute.
this is by far my little most prized possession. I
Aw,
friggin' love this little thing.
My girlfriend drew me, I think it was with crayon, colored pencil. It's a gorilla because she
I
calls
love
me
it.
gorrito, which is little gorilla. And she
I
drew me
love
a
that.
gorilla. It's one of my prized possessions. You couldn't buy it from me.
I
Yeah.
mean,
That's how that is. Yeah. Like
what
It's
I'll
on my
say about
desk.
the
Yeah.
these large scale collections, I also don't see myself ever creating like a large scale collection. Right now, that 512 piece collection, which was inscribed like over a year ago,
It's still pretty big.
that is a big collection to me. But I also that whole concept of scarcity, and also like I guess maybe my foundation in the trad art world, and like artists just I mean that hundreds of pieces is a lot of pieces, of course. And then you know it's like uniqueness comes into play, and we haven't seen something that really, especially in the large scale, that is super unique. But yeah,
I think
um,
we've seen a few things that really do explore the corners of an algorithm,
mhm.
but there are not a lot of, like Frontline, I think is a pretty good example of exploring a whole bunch of different things that look exactly the same at first, like when you zoom out, but as you start to look through them, I think Alexis Andre did a really great job with those. There is diversity, there's meaning, there's a point, like he's making a statement with it. The algorithm is diverse enough that all of the outputs are unique, and I think there's a weird, like if you made one of these, it would probably be a much more valuable piece. But that also means fewer people can afford it. So in an age where we don't need prints or editions in order to view something, we are able to partake in this thing by buying like a small fraction of it and being like, this is the one I like, this is the one I will have, and then I'll put it on my computer. It just makes us feel like a part of this thing that we otherwise can't really be a part of. So I think there's a lot to be said for large long form generative collections, and we haven't even scratched the surface of it. It's going to go in a million directions. I think PFPs are a pretty good example of this too. They allow you to
Yeah,
like partake in and add to a cultural identity without really having to discern which piece it is, although you can have your favorite and you can have one that you think exemplifies the way you feel about yourself. But it doesn't really matter if 9,000 of them are stupid looking, because they all kind of look stupid. They're all the same character. It's like one guy dressed up 10,000 different ways, with different body paint on or something. There's something cool about it. Yeah, it's kind of stupid too, like when you think about it. If you think a little more about it, it's like kind of not that stupid.
well, the whole
you know?
concept of like masterworks comes to mind from the trad art world, where they sell like basically, well, there's I guess there's a couple avenues, but masterworks sells like fractions of like a blue chip piece of art, and you own like a piece of that art, or there's
It's different
literally
though. That
it,
doesn't feel the same to
it
me.
doesn't feel the same, and to me it's not interesting because like I
Yeah.
don't are they selling you like a little piece, like they'll actually sell you like this little piece of the piece of art, and it's like I don't want to own that. But it goes back to kind of what you were saying, like everyone's owning like a portion of this larger body of work and a piece of that.
Owning 1/1000th of a CryptoPunk, like one pixel on it, to me feels different than owning an individual output that I got to choose. Like, I'm not going to choose which
I agree.
pixel. I don't really care which pixel, right?
Yeah.
But I get to choose a specific output and filter through all of the different weird traits and the way they express and the color palettes. And stuff. I really like to sift through those things. That's a personal thing, though. You know,
Yeah, no, but I do see like there's this kind of like maybe on the retail consumer side, there is obvious interest in that where people are like, oh, hey, I own a piece, I own a part of a Picasso. And they just don't even care about the other, like, they don't
you
even
know,
really care what it is.
one of the punks that was burned in the original, the OMB Green Eye Mint, was fractionalized, and nobody gives a shit. Nobody fucking cares at all. I
Yeah.
haven't seen a. I don't even know if.
Well,
Let
it
me see
doesn't,
if I can
it doesn't work well within that
find it.
space, right? To own a piece of something when there's maybe 10,000 of them, where you should just have, you know,
But
and
but I
ownership is verifiable.
but I also think when we say things like nobody cares, we also, just like you were saying earlier, how do we know that nobody cares until 50 years from now?
Yeah, we don't. That's a good point.
Touche.
I think nobody cares because they're all trying to exit it furiously because they're showing me they don't care. Because I listen to words or I listen to actions, not words. But you know,
Totally.
it.
Yeah, nobody cares now. Nobody
Yeah,
cares now.
maybe somebody will care later. I have one piece of it, you know, just because I was there when it happened, and it was like we were burning CryptoPunks. It's such an insane idea. Like you can't burn something that's on chain on another chain. Well, I guess you can. OCM is actually a really great example of this. They're both on chain on Ethereum and on chain on Bitcoin. I think that's a really funny distinction to make. Like it's probably the most bulletproof asset on the planet because no matter what goes down, they're like probably still going to be around. Kind of funny.
Yeah, that is a good point. But they're once you transition it or teleburn it, then it's non-tradable on Ethereum.
It's not tradable, but it's still there.
It still
Like it
exists.
exists
Yeah,
if it's for the
yeah,
sake
of
of
course.
data
But
preservation specifically. You know?
that's this maybe misunderstanding in this concept of burning that people have. Like once something is burned, that doesn't mean it doesn't exist anymore. That just means it's sitting somewhere where it can no longer move.
It's locked.
It's locked.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
locked in an Ethereum
Right.
address that can't be
Yeah.
accessed
Yeah,
anymore.
Ethereum or Satoshi's wallet or whatever the case.
Right.
But I guess also that whole concept comes back into my mind of Bitcoin being immutable, when in fact, yes, the actual like the token, whatever the Satoshi will still exist, but it can be altered by adjusting the pointers or reinscribing things. So that is kind of an interesting topic that is also kind of probably a misconception within that whole space. So
I mean, if you
Yeah.
don't burn your SAT endpoints, then it is locked, isn't it?
it would be, yeah, because you couldn't access it. But I still have the endpoints for Cosmogenesis because if the technology changes in the future, I still want people to be able to view it. So if I want to update it or update the code, or it's like the intention is to never touch it. But let's say the technology changes, our viewing devices change in some way that it can't be viewed the same way anymore. Granted, if I'm not here, it's obviously not going to be touched.
I think
and
that's
maybe
reasonable.
it'd be left in
There
my
are a lot
will
of
to burn
collections
it.
that have
Yeah,
open endpoints at the
there
moment.
are.
Like there are tons and tons of collections
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
could be
Yeah.
like Lunatics and many things those guys have worked on
right,
are open ended because people want the ability to change it in the
right.
future. But like they could
And
just
they
turn
do.
all of them into dicks. Like
Right, exactly. You could completely change
if they just
everything.
they lost it. They could do
Right,
what
that
they
goes
want
back
with
to
it.
artist intention and
Right.
all of that stuff. But
Which is interesting too, because it's not technically lost. You're just viewing a new image, right?
True,
What
because
it
when you
wa-
inscribe
because
over it, you can still see the old
right,
thing if you look at
right,
it. Yeah.
right. It's still inscribed. It's
Can't remove it.
just you can't remove it, right?
Right.
You're viewing something different now.
It's a good point.
So
It's like Google Sheets. Like if you type the wrong thing in, you can always just go back to yesterday and bring up your
yeah,
old sheet, right?
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's still there. It's just you're viewing something different, which is an interesting take on that.
Very good point. Yeah, no matter what, it's unruggable because you can just go look at the previous inscription or 5 inscriptions ago, whatever version you want.
but does everybody have that knowledge to know where to go view it?
Doesn't matter.
It exists, right? It still exists. The same thing,
That
gets
knowledge
burned.
is coming.
Is it?
Is it?
Yeah.
Is everybody going to read next year or
Ah,
something? What are you talking
no,
about?
nobody
You
reads.
know what I'm talking
Oh,
about, Donnie. You know what I'm talking
I
about,
do know
Donnie.
what you're talking about, actually. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's not. You guys can't.
We
do
all
that.
got secrets we keep, don't we?
Secrets. What's Harmony laughing about over there? She's looking at secrets.
Got secrets.
Harmony's
No, I'm
placing
laughing at
bids.
you guys. I'm
Speaking
laughing at
of
you guys.
secrets,
All got secrets.
I have a secret crush on Harmony right now because of her hair.
Oh,
What?
Like, yeah, like
Stop.
it looks amazing.
It does look
Thank
I
you.
keep looking
Okay.
down at you. I'm like, Dang.
Keep looking down at her.
Harmony
What are you
is
trying to say?
Well, she's in the bottom left.
There's
so
spaces beneath. Yeah.
Well, we are
Oh,
gonna
man.
meet soon, Kinetics,
Ooh.
Ryan. We're gonna meet.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm coming
Hey
to
now.
Florida.
Let's we can actually talk about that really quick, and then maybe we'll wind this there. But yeah, Art Basel's coming up. You guys are coming down. What's everyone's plan for Miami Art Week? Okay,
Go to
not Art
stuff.
Basel. Go to stuff.
Yummy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the main showroom floor. You know, the big one,
Art Basel.
Art Basel,
Mhm.
and we're gonna go to the Nolcha party,
Okay.
and we're gonna go to
Mm.
whatever inscribing event. If that's the same thing, I don't know. I don't
Is
think it
is
is.
Notch on the 4th? Is that
Yeah.
the 4th night?
On the evening
Right?
of the 4th
Yeah.
at the Sagamore, I think, right?
Oh.
Yeah, sure. It's at the Sagamore. I think that's the thing that Super Chief and Gamma are both a part of.
Okay.
And then there's an
yeah.
inscribing thing that is at that nightclub it was at last year,
On
I think.
Washington Ave.
Or-
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
is it
with
the same
Ancora.
one?
Yeah, I think it's the same spot, but I think they're starting it much later in the day, if I remember correctly. So it's
there's
not going to be like
no-
a daytime seminar thing. I think
Right.
they're just leaning into the part that got traction last
Oh,
year.
the
which
night
was the later
thing?
part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My poems are being exhibited at the Gates Hotel.
Where's the gates?
South Beach.
I don't know.
Right next to
Yep.
the wall.
Yeah, I think it's on
And
Ocean.
I am
Road or something.
reading my poems at a brunch at Fidelios brunch.
Fidelios.
And then
Look at you.
both Stephen and I are going to be on an art panel at Beat Basel on the same day, on Thursday.
We'll see you there.
Those are my plans. I want to swim. You want to swim, Donnie? I'll
We're in the
race you.
ocean?
Yeah.
No, I don't race in the ocean. Too wavy. It's hurricane season.
Well,
Just
then
end
I
of
win.
hurricane
No,
season. It's gonna be
yeah.
way too wavy to swim.
Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah, you do win. You do win.
There's no way.
I did 100 IM today again in 100 meter,
Look at him, he's
not
like-
yard. I was stretching, but yeah, if you can see my biceps, that's why. I'm not getting worse at butterflies as I get older. I should be, but I'm not.
No, you're getting better if you're practicing.
I'm not practicing that much, but I'm staying
If you,
even at
if
least.
you did 100 IM, you're practicing.
I did 100 IM. Going for the 200 next time. They cut up the lanes now though, so I don't have to swim the 50 meter specifically. You can only go 25 meters, so
Yeah, that sucks.
I lost out on the mandate. You do the 200. I'll get there. This is not the
Yeah.
Donnie swim space though. I apologize.
No, it's we love
Get back to
life
talking about
and life.
I definitely want to swim. I want to, yeah, I don't know. What else should we do, Steven?
Well, okay, so my plans are speak at Beat Basel, and then Rudolph Buja, the gallery that Cosmic Cowboy's with. So he's opening that gallery, and he'll probably tell me last minute if he's going to be exhibiting that. Either way, I plan on attending the opening. You guys are welcome to join me to go to the opening on South Beach at his gallery. He's puts on really nice events. He just put on an event in Doral for Florian Reinhardt, who does these exit signs. For years, he captured exit signs throughout the world. He has an incredible collection. They've been really pushing it throughout the world. He did a whole opening in Doral. Rudolph is very into like amazing like classic cars, supercars. So it was like a mix of like the supercars and the exit signs. But the event had like ice sculptures and caviar. Like he puts on top notch, really nice events. Very swanky,
those.
very cool. So
Do they have the hot girls walking around with the champagne with the sparkler? Or
I
something?
don't
With the
maybe
shorts that go
definitely
too high?
champagne. But I mean he's a blue chip art dealer that's been selling since the 80s, and like very priceless works of art from notable artists, pop artists, Basquiat.
What day is it?
I'll have to let you know, but it's probably earlier in the week, I'm guessing. So so for me, like traditionally, I would go out, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe Thursday, because everything is like opening, VIP openings. Art Basel would be like the VIP preview, a vernissage, and like it's less people. It's more people who are interested in the actual work versus just like kind of like touring as a touristy thing. On the weekend,
Yeah.
you get a lot of that. So I kind of stay away because it's also super busy. But generally, like the really good events, everything's kind of earlier in the week, and then into the weekend, it becomes more of like an open party. So I stay home.
Yeah,
Right?
I come in Sunday night, so I'm
You're
definitely
gonna be there the whole
down
week.
to do. Yeah, I'm down to do stuff at the beginning of the week. For
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, and I'll keep you posted. I mean,
Thank you.
yeah, we'll see. It should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to speaking about art at Beat Basel.
Yeah.
Donnie, you're speaking about Bitcoin, if I'm not mistaken.
We don't know what we're talking about yet. We're going to see what the rest of the people are talking about. We have such a weird ragtag group. One of the topics that was thrown up was IPFS versus on-chain art and the benefits and drawbacks, the permanence, leaning into the temporary nature of it, the cost, the fear of hitting a button you can't unhit, yada, yada, yada. There's a whole bunch of, we have a really strange bunch. It's not like 4 people who do the same thing. It's people who are just from all over.
Who's on the panel?
Aaron Redwing, Rare Skrilla, Troy, and Sheldon. So like,
Nice.
fuck if I know what
Are
we're
you
talking.
moderating?
Yeah.
Are you moderating? Do you know, Harmony, do you know who else is on our panel and who's moderating for the art panel?
I know Elmo's moderating.
Ah, okay.
But I don't know who else is on the panel.
Well, that should be good. That should be a good one to get into. Okay. Yeah, that should be a good event. I'm okay. I'm looking forward to it. Okay. Yeah, it was a good event last year. I spoke there also last year.
Yeah.
What did we talk about?
Yeah, I
don't
met your
remember.
dog.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna bring Oliver again. So, yeah,
I wonder if he'll
So-
remember me. I hope so.
he probably will. Dogs
bet he will.
generally remember. They remember maybe not. They remember your scent probably.
Yeah,
more
I have a
than
beard now, so he wouldn't know me based on my face.
Take him a
He
second.
might like
Right.
the beard better.
Last year you didn't have a beard.
Did I?
anything. So,
You did not.
Oh no, I think I had a
No, you
mustache
didn't.
last year.
oh, you
Yeah,
did
because
have a
then
mustache.
because then the next time I saw you, you had a beard, and I was like, is this
It comes out
who
quick,
I
man.
spoke to?
Yeah.
So
I should
oh,
shave it. I should like grow out my hair and freak everyone out.
Yeah. Oof. You should
I
take
don't even
this
know what
and-
that would look like. I'd look like David Cross probably because I'd only have like the ring around the back.
You should leave that with the beard, and then it'll just like ring around.
And I'll just wear jean shorts and nothing else.
Wow. That would be
Get the joke? Maybe?
good luck. Hold on. There you go. Dr. Connects, that means you have to join us. You have to make your way from Tampa to Miami. Sorry to dox you. Not really. But you're gonna join us, right?
That's yeah.
We're gonna
hopefully. That's the
find you a
plan.
place to stay. A shelter. We're gonna find
Down
you
by the
a
river.
creative shelter down by the river. we're gonna give you some paintbrushes and some canvas and just
Well, I haven't really leaned into it yet, but Ingrid did say that her and Donnie were gonna adopt me.
give you. Oh.
Yeah, we have a really tiny hotel room though, so
I'm,
Yeah.
I
Kids
sleep
are
at the
good-
foot
kids
of the
gotta
bed,
go,
Sleep at the
kids
foot of the
gotta
bed.
go. All curled up.
Yeah.
Steven, can you bring Oliver's dog bed?
Yeah, he doesn't need it, but he sleeps in the bed, and he literally Oliver like.
Yeah, that's what I
like,
mean. He
Oh,
Kinetics needs it.
he's gonna have to really curl up in that thing.
Do what we
Yeah.
have to do.
Oh
That's
God!
right.
Oh
Oh,
God! It's
my.
getting very aggressive. Let's tone down the aggression. Okay, we're dealing with art. By the way, if you do, anybody that's going to Art Basel, right next door is Design Miami, and usually it's a great show focusing on design, furniture, things like that. Really, really good show. And I believe if you get a ticket to Art Basel, it also grants you access. If I'm not mistaken, maybe it's an additional fee. It's either way, it's definitely well worth it. The other notable shows would be like famously like Art Miami itself. That's the second largest fair. It's the largest satellite fair that takes place since 2001. It's Art Miami and Context. 2 tents they're put together. It's a lot of work, a lot of galleries from around the world.
Yeah, I'm
That's-
going to that one.
That's a good one. That's very close to me. Nada is also very close to me. That's in Ice Palace. There's also going to be Scope, which is the one that's on the beach, on Miami Beach. And I believe
Scope was
Super
great
Chief
last year.
is usually involved. Scope is usually a great show.
Big fan.
I've even purchased stuff there. I purchased artwork there when I was
Really?
actually going to cover.
Ooh.
Yeah, I purchased I could go get it. It's basically a little like monkey sculpture, and he's holding like a sign that says "I love you." And I got one of the last
Aw.
ones. It was from like a gallery in like Germany or Austria, and they gave me a little discount because I was actually there covering the fair. And it was not. We're talking like a couple $100, which was great. I was like, "Yeah, I'll take it." That is a signed work of art. It was a limited edition, and I was like, "Ah, I really like it." And yeah, it was cute.
That was the big white. It's like
Actu-
now at the white building or 10 or something
It's
where it was on the beach.
well, they're usually white tents, yeah, but it's usually like they have like some sort of grand opening that some artists usually collaborates on that you walk through to get inside the tent. But
If you have a VIP pass, otherwise you have to walk through the sweaty loser poor people entrance.
Oh God, I'm so sorry.
Mhm.
But
That's me.
that's the one. There's like 2 that are actually on the beach, and Scope is one of them that's on the beach. I forgot the name of the other one, but there's
Same.
there's usually 10 to 15 satellite fairs. So you have the main event, Art Basel, Design Miami, Miami Beach Convention Center, and then satellite events, satellite fairs, 10 to 15, 20, depending on the year. And that's all just also galleries, artists exhibiting, all for sale. And then, of course, all the parties. And then, of course, you have in the past few years, all the added Web3 events like Beat Basel and all these other things that kind of come in and kind of coincide with it because, we're about the art too. And then, of course, with that, it's going to be interesting to see the turnout for the exhibition at Art Basel of the digital work. Like I'm very excited to see how that turns out with the overall awareness. People, like digital art is getting at the main stage. So it's a really great opportunity to highlight just digital art in general, which is a good segue to talk about where it can be stored in places like the blockchain. And then, of course, we can gear them towards ordinals and Bitcoin.
Yeah, that was something that came up in the group chat that I was not aware of. Someone said that they, in talking to people who expressed interest in putting work on Bitcoin, stopped, like they were hesitant because it was permanent, because they couldn't alter it afterward. And that just had never even occurred to me that I could finish something and even ever regret putting it on chain, Like I just don't have the foresight for that or something.
But what we just said with the SAT endpoints, they can alter it.
Well, not everyone's using endpoints though.
Right.
Yeah. So depends what you're.
Oh,
it
you
depends on
mean
what
they're-
That's something to bring up though.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Definitely.
I mean,
But even if you put something on chain first, like if you want to change it, it's still like your mistake is still there. I think people get really insecure about not doing something perfectly. And at the beginning of Ordinals, there was a lot of narrative about like, this is super important. Don't fuck it up. You only have one chance. Like people are getting on spaces.
I told you guys about the poems, right? Like so all of the poems are in the metadata. That's what we did first, is put them in the metadata. And even though like I checked it, AI checked it, Greg checked it, supposedly, I think Daft checked, I like a couple people, supposedly other people checked it, there was still, I think like 3 mistakes in the metadata. Like
I think mistakes
spelling.
are cool though. So maybe that's why I don't worry about it. Like I like mistakes.
No, so then in the actual image, I made sure the image was correct. But you'll see that in the metadata, it's different. And also, I think it was 2 poems. I actually like decided I hated the poem and changed it. So the metadata is different than the image as well. And then I also told you guys that there's a couple of them that it changes in the image depending on the block time, whether the words are plural or they're not. So there's a couple mistakes, and then there's a couple intentional changes that are different.
I've made some big mistakes. Yeah, I have some collections that are 2 collections because my seeding got fucked up.
Mistakes are human.
So 2 parents for a collection, 2 complete collections.
Ooh, how do you do that?
You just fucking do another one and you explain it in your metadata. I mean, it is what it is, right? Like, I'm not gonna cry over spilled milk. I mean, we're all doing new shit. Like, it's not user friendly right now, and like, especially for me, like I'm doing so much technical shit sometimes. Like,
also, nobody cares. I'm sorry, I'm blocking the microphone. Nobody cares at all. Nobody's ever going to see the mistake. They don't even look on chain.
They're not. Yeah, people aren't going to tell. But even if they do, like, I don't care.
They don't know what you meant to do. Only you know what you meant to do.
It's to be human.
2 parents are kind of cool. I don't know.
Well,
healthy home.
Well, what I mean is there's like a grandparent, and then underneath that there's the parent of the collection. Right. Well, that parent in that collection got all fucked up. So then I had to do another parent under the grandparent and then a collection.
I intentionally screwed up a bunch of parent-child stuff with the collection I was doing like 2 years ago, just to see how I could paste it back together. So I would like make a thing under the wrong thing, and then I'd reinscribe something onto it that connects to the right thing. So you'd have to like monkey around and go, instead of going up, down, left, to right, you have to like go in to find the collection. And there's a whole bunch of things that are like parented down and then back up and then back down. Just to like, even if it doesn't make sense, just to see how we can glue it all together.
There is some, like, when you really start like thinking about it and take yourself outside the box a little bit, there is just some insane shit that you can do that's just so different and so complex that we haven't even scratched the surface, honestly. You know, there's just so much.
Um, what I'll a little insight. Yeah, imperfection is perfection. When cosmogenesis was inscribed, there was what I considered a huge mistake at the time, and I was given the opportunity or the option to completely reinscribe the whole collection, and then I was like, wait, the ethos of this collection is life itself, right? Life is imperfect. I let that imperfection live. And I don't think anybody has ever even noticed that.
They were supposed to be squares.
What is it?
Yes. Okay. So yes, they were supposed to be
Oh,
squares.
what a fuck up,
And the-
Steven. You ruined the
and
whole thing.
developer said no, you have to make them square, and I was like, no circles, and he said no. Okay, so basically, what happened was the inscription sequence was super specific, right? I had 6 alpha sats, 244 block 9450X, and then 6 omega sats. Now, these are, for anybody who doesn't know, these are the Satoshis that the artwork gets inscribed on. They have their own narratives associated with them, which tie into the narrative of the artwork. Okay, so this is the circle of life. Alpha, the first sats you could inscribe on, and then omega, the complete circle of life. Within that, there are Easter eggs. Some of those sats have specific dates, like the very first sat references the date of the white paper. The last sat was a very specific sat. Something happened, the inscription sequence was basically set, right? Because you're inscribing sequentially. The way is to do one after another. So, and then you do the blocks of 244 pieces, and then the last 6. Somehow the very last sat, the last omega sat, was pointing to, it was supposed to be, I think, a black sat. Something, it was supposed to be something different. It turned out to be just an everyday sat. And basically it was like, do you want to reinscribe the whole collection based on this? Well, I was like, wait a second, this is life, and shit happens in life, and you don't have full control. And I do believe like imperfections, like all of these mistakes that artists make.
Nobody
like,
knows but you.
Nope. And that piece, I'm gonna give you a
And
little
who
more.
you just told.
It's also available on secondary. So, and you know how Magic Eden says, it says like, it tells you like what the Satoshi is. Nobody has ever asked me. Nobody's ever referenced the dates. Nobody looks at any of that stuff, but for the artist's intent. And now it became part of the story for me. It's part of the story. It's part of that legacy. And I can tell that people go, well, was this a mistake? Well, no, well, it was originally, but then it was like, that's the story. That's the life of the work. And that's what becomes of it. And to me, that piece, just like those off prints from the silk screening process, that piece gives it inherently more value because of that. And it gives me also something to talk about. So
What is Cosmogenesis for right now? I'm looking at.
I have no idea. I focus on the mint, which is also still available.
I understand.
Just so you know. There's also Flora Pop if anybody's interested in buying my work or supporting Stephen Morse. There's 24 Flora Pops left. There's a 48-piece collection. By the way, that's also like the thing with like the ability with all this digital work is like numerology numbers. Of course, with Bitcoin, it's like to play with that stuff is like, it's a lot of fun, and to tie it all together. But again, a lot of people don't look at any of that stuff. It's really something I advocate always for. Probably will speak about it on stage. Is in a very fast-moving space. Like, slow down. Like, take a look at what you're collecting. There's a lot of layers that artists are putting into this work. So, and most people don't know that that's even like interactive, or you can actually export it and you can create your own. Every single GIF I've posted of Cosmogenesis is a gift I literally export from the work on chain. So, little tidbits about my own.
You're doing great.
So, that is one collection that I
You're
am
doing great, Steven.
very connected to and very proud of. And I'm a typical
You
creator.
are
Like, I
doing
hate most
great.
of my work. I hate most of my work, like a lot of us. So
It's
You hate
unfortunate.
your work?
This,
I hate a
the
lot of my
space
work.
is-
Yeah.
It's unfortunate the space is so shallow when it comes to that stuff, right? Like people just don't get very deep, and that's unfortunate.
That's everywhere,
I,
right?
it is.
It's every museum.
But
It's every food.
I hope-
It's every restaurant.
Things
Yeah.
move very fast everywhere.
Yeah.
Most
If
people
we
don't take the
we
time.
need something I've thought about is, there needs to be a better place, and I think that this will come with time to where everything right now on Bitcoin is like just so all over the place. There, it just is like things are all over the place. It'd be nice to have something to tie it all together in a more uniform way.
You mean like a marketplace or a?
No, I don't even know.
Yeah, like
but
what's all over the place? What do you mean?
Well, like a convenient place to see like metadata, or a convenient place to see like, you know, parent child lineage in
Then
a
all
meaningful way.
ordinals.com or
Yeah.
.io or
So,
design.
It
Yeah, but
exists.
well, yes and no, but like that doesn't. But
or dot
there,
or
you can
.io,
see some of those things, right?
ordinals.com. Yeah.
But they're kind of clunky. But then like maybe there's a
So
maybe there's a place where
this
like
is,
artists can tell some
yeah.
information about their work, like a
But if
one-stop
everybody
shop
could
like
do that,
Magic.
then it would just be Magic Eden again, right? Like it would just
But
be a
but
pile
not
of shit somebody would have to dig through.
well, but
No,
yes, but like not a marketplace, right? Like the intent isn't to sell things. The intent is information.
no, I mean
I mean,
even the
that's
information, like that's ordinals.
that's that's ordinals.com. But
Yeah.
you know what I was going to say? What is really interesting that I found, like with people viewing my collection, is that it's very hard for them to view it on Gamma because it's not in order. They don't even see that it comes from a parent. They don't see the metadata. They don't even see all the intricacies. So um, I remember talking about it with somebody, and then I said, oh, did you see that you could actually flip through the parent? And they said, what does that mean? Because a lot of people I had talked to about my collection is actually people who aren't avid ordinals collectors. And I sent them the ordinals.com link, and they said, wow, like this is a whole different experience. Looking at your collection on ordinals.com is just a whole different experience than it is on the marketplace. So I think that it is kind of a shame in our decentralized space that we need to depend on people viewing our collections through marketplaces, maybe, or not viewing, but actually then deciding to purchase through marketplaces.
If
Well,
you put too many functions in one place, though, people can't do any of it. So it has to be like buying here, viewing here,
Viewing
deep
there.
dives here, right? Like
well,
No,
Kinetics makes a website for his deep dives, maybe. I don't know.
well, well, I think
yeah,
well, I think like ordinals.com solves a part of it, but it doesn't solve all of it. And so like I know you can go on there, right, and see the metadata, and you can see the parent-child lineage and all that, but you can see the parent-child lineage and start tracing it back if you want, like clicking links and shit. Like it doesn't give you an overview of all of it, right? So a place you can see all that from an artist, or a place maybe where artists can go in and maybe provide some more of those details about the collection, right? To provide a little more meaningful context to like what is this about. What I'm saying is there's no one place where like you can really deep dive fully into all areas of each of these collections. And I think if we had something like that, I think it could be a little bit more meaningful. Um, Obviously, the UI would have to be right. Like it would have to be done very, very well, so it's not like overload. But I think something like that could be beneficial
yeah.
to provide
I,
more
I
context, because Bitcoin's a little weird, right? Like how we do things, and with all of it.
I think it's also kind of on the creator and on the collector, like to to have that relationship where they can talk about these things and they can kind of give hints to how to find these things, because a lot of people, like we keep saying, a lot of people don't care. So they're just, they want a quick view, quick buy, whatever it is. So no matter what is built out, like I think Donnie was touching on this earlier, when Magic Eden started adding a lot more buttons and information and tabs, people were overwhelmed by the information, and it took away from the simplicity, and then people were stopped being able to find information because there was like too much information jammed into one place.
It was a real problem, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I think
So
well, I
yeah,
think it
yeah.
comes down to UI, right? Like you can have a lot of information as long as it's structured correctly and done into the way that like you're not just throwing all the information up in front of somebody and they're like, what the fuck is all this? Like it has to be done in a way where you have to meaningfully maybe go through things to get to it, so that, to your point, it's not overload. Like
Would it
that's how
be
you solve that.
easier? to go to the website, click the 10 buttons to get to the collection than it would be to just click the ordinals.com link from the Magic Eden site.
But
That's
you
the
could do,
weird,
well,
you know,
yeah, I get that. And so, but
it's like 10 more steps, right? Or
right,
5, 2, or whatever.
but my kind of what I'm talking about is like, you know, so for instance, right, like you say Harmony, it's kind of between like the creator and the, the
Collector.
participant or the buyer, the collector,
Yeah.
right? But like, where can I go to learn about people that I don't even fucking know about?
Magic
Well,
Eden.
I mean,
Right. You go to Magic and you just scroll shit, but like, but
Yeah, but like, how else would you organize it?
but
no,
like, but my point is like, how
sometimes
would
they have,
you like click
there's
on the you type A in the
Yeah.
top, right? And then it shows all the A's and
You
I-
can do that on
you look
Magic
through
Eden,
it.
yeah.
I've done
That's all
that
you can
before
do.
where I've clicked on their Twitter link and then I DM them and I ask them questions. You've never done that?
Yes, but my point is, but you're being curated
I
that.
stalk them. I go to
Like-
their
like,
house.
But
No.
it would be nice if like there was a place. My point is, and I don't know how possible this is,
Don't
but,
come
like,
over uninvited.
imagine we
Sorry.
had a place where like that just the vast majority of people in ordinals knew like, hey, this is a place where you can go to like get all the information you need. Like artists can go in there and put things about user collections. Like just UI is really effective, right? And it's done in a really unbiased, because it would have to be unbiased. I've actually thought about this a lot, right? Because you could be pushing certain artists over other artists. It's got to be fair to all artists.
Well, then who
and
gets to
creators.
show up there? Just whoever inputs their information?
Right. Yeah.
Well, how does that not just turn back into ordinals.com?
Because
If it's like
ordinals.com isn't
everybody.
getting any feedback from the creator.
That-
Like, what is your intent for the collection? Like, maybe give some information about the collection. Maybe you can provide links to your website or different things to where if people wanted to deep dive a little bit more, they could. And so I think that having something like that could be meaningful. I don't know. All I
You should
know is
build
for
it, Kinetics.
I
You
am
should
building
build
it. I'm somewhat looking at that, but like that, because that is a niche in the space where I've struggled with my complexity with stuff, is like it's so complex. I want if people want to understand it, I want to do it. And so that's why I built out a website, is because I wanted, if people wanted to find it, I needed a repository of all this information, like so that people wanted to read about it, they could. But then I think about like, what about creators that don't know how to build a website or don't have funds to build a website or just all these myriad of different things, right? Like what about those people? And so that's why I thought it could be nice, to have something like that to where anybody can go and put their information in. And our space has a place where, there's all this meaningful information in it, in an unbiased and honest way. No shilling, like no bullshit. Like you're not trying to like push one artist over another artist. And like, it's just free, fair, and open to everybody.
So inscribing new things about like metadata into a collection and just putting that in a place that it's visible on ordinals.com is not enough?
Well, it depends.
That's a
right?
question.
Like,
I just don't see.
well, because
like,
that's
Can I use an
metadata.
example? I think I have PTSD from Magic Eden saying they have a curated art section, and now like Fine Pepes are in there. And like, don't get me wrong, Fine Pepes are like, it's cool. There's nothing wrong with it. But like, what are we talking about when we say curated art? We're opening a weird box. Right?
Let's be honest. Like that whole fucking thing is bullshit. Like,
Well, it
let's
is,
call
but
a
that's my
spade a
point.
spade. Like,
I
that's
think that
garbage.
artists have been engaging in this, like, no one can find us. No, there's no place for us to put our stuff. Like, we don't have enough visibility. It's because there's too fucking many people. There's just too many fucking. It's not like there's 3 artists.
Well,
Like when people were making
I would
music in the 60s, there were like 4 recording labels that would make 5 artists a decade famous as fuck. You didn't have to try to know about these people. That's why we know the name like Mike Tyson or something, right? But like now, everybody knows whoever's in their TikTok algorithm.
Right, but
That's
but
the only thing we
imagine,
can know.
but
I would love
imagine,
if people utilized metadata for things like this.
I think they do. Just
They-
don't look
Some of
at
them.
it because
Yeah,
nobody
some of them.
fucking
No,
cares.
a lot of people don't. A lot of people
No, a
utilize
lot of people don't. Of course.
metadata
Yeah.
for traits. Usually it's traits that are in metadata. I think that I was like one of the few people who actually put something longer form in metadata.
So, right. So there's two things to that, right? Like, yes, you can add a ton of stuff in the metadata data. It does start to increase the cost.
Data, potato,
It
patata.
does start to increase the costs, right? Depending on how you're doing it. So there's that. You can also inscribe
Metadata is not
things.
okay, go on.
Well,
It's not, it's just text.
Yeah, it's
right.
not
It is
expensive.
it is text, but if you get into like delegating and things like that, like as soon as you start getting into that, like if you're really trying to keep your costs low,
You're asking a dev to
it
do
does
it
start to
also
add on,
adds
right? It does
cost.
start to add on a little bit and things like that. Not saying it's huge, but it is a cost. Or you can also inscribe things, right? Like you can inscribe HTML, right? Obviously, you'd have to know HTML, or maybe you inscribe a PNG of a document or some shit, right? But you can also inscribe information about the collection as well that you want people to do, that you could also put on a
Yeah.
website. So I get you can do those things, but there are, with all of these things though, there's barriers, and there just are. Like this space, Bitcoin is just full of technical and barriers and understanding that some people know, some people don't know, and so
I think there are also barriers to what you're proposing, though, that may be even bigger than the other barriers that we face, because it requires, like, let's say you run this website, you have to do that. Like, you have to, is it free? Are you just going to do this for free for everybody? Is it a repository that they contribute to? Is it easier than putting things on chain? There's so many more clicks and questions and like an aggregator, and then they have to go, it's another site people have to go to. I'm not shitting on the idea. I just think, like, if someone said, here's a place you can go and get everyone's details, I'm like, that's overwhelming.
Well, I would love
I
to
don't
see
know
the
if I would do it.
site. I would love to see the platform you're working on.
Yeah,
I
that's
think it's a cool idea.
yeah, I mean, I haven't like started working on it. It's like ways down the road, but like it's something that I've always been interested in, because I'm like, I just feel like, this is my thought, right? Imagine we all had, and this isn't me creating it, like let's say somebody created some site that's already out there, right? And it was done correctly, obviously, have to be that, but that we could all just point people to and say, hey, you want to, you want to find out about my work, like go to this website, you can look me up, all the information's on there, or there's like categories, all different shit, right? If everybody in our space was pushing anybody new to this one website, right, because it was effective and it was a repository of all this information, I think
I
that
don't
would be
know.
good for the space.
I love the idea of somebody inscribing like something about themselves as their parent inscription. And then all of their art that they create under that parent, then you go back to the parent and you go, who was this artist? What is their history, or whatever they wanted to share?
It's
And
there
then like
forever too.
yeah, it's there forever. And then for every new collection, you can inscribe like something that is the inspiration for the collection. I actually really like that idea. Inspired by Donnie.
Well, go for it. You should do it, I think.
I'm
You
gonna
should
do
make that.
it.
You should make that
I'm a-
website.
No, not a
Or not
website.
web. Well, it's like a web portal where people get to go and do this thing that is then inscribed on chain.
What are you talking about? You just inscribe it on chain. Like
Right.
everyone does it. Instead of having a parent inscription that is whatever it is. I mean, my parent inscription made sense because it's a book of the poems. But like I could have done another parent above that saying like about the artist. This is Harmony with the
Also
picture.
reinscribe. You make a reinscription on any parent and do
Oh, I
that. for it.
could.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do that. I
Then
love
people got to
that.
click the SAT. They got to go to ordinals.com. They have to scroll down to the SAT. They have to click the SAT, and that Kinetics is where you come.
They'll never
That's what I'm
find it.
saying. They're not going to see it. It's there, but they'll never see it.
But
That's
I'll
where
do it.
Kinetics' platform
Drop
is.
in my website. Then there's a viewer, right? And you can just see, because you could do it. It's not complicated. Like I've looked into it. Like I run my own node, so I have core or client on it. So I can do whatever the fuck I want. And so that's what I've been playing around with. And so you can visually bring that up because it's all on chain. You can travel that hierarchy of parents and then throw the images up, and you can literally show it in a view. I've done it. I've looked at it.
I love reinscription. That's like, so Knox
Same.
has done now 2 different reinscription projects, and it's my favorite thing in the world. Like I love that you can have an ordinal connected to like another ordinal to strengthen the story or the narrative around that piece of art. I just think
Right,
it's the
but
coolest thing ever.
right, but the problem is, right, this is a visual space, and we don't have any way to visually see that in a meaningful way, right? We know that it's there. The only way you can see that is you just know if you're looking like your Magic Eden wall, that like the one's fucking at the top, right, and the other one's at the bottom because it's attached to it. You can't have two reinscriptions in two different collections. They don't allow it. And so one's floating and one's not. And so
Two
I
different
think you can.
reinscriptions. Right,
I
right.
think reinscriptions can be
Different
indexed
collections.
separately because they're
yeah,
on the
but
rat. You know, the rat that I have like 140 or 120 inscriptions
Yeah,
on or whatever. Those are indexed into a few different collections, I think.
yeah, you can, and
oh,
that
they're
was the
not.
whole thing when Knox did the artist series, the one that he just did. So all of those were like Cyber Raiders, Hell, like they were all different from different collections, and then the artist series was its own collection, but it was connected. So they were indexed in two separate collections, but
Hmm.
then living on the same stat.
Yeah, they told me I couldn't do that.
This is
I think it
getting
used
Why?
to be a problem for Magic Eden
Who
back in
told
the day.
you?
They used to have a lot of difficulty fucking around with reinscriptions. It used to break a
Mm,
lot of their systems,
and
but I
indexing.
think
Yeah.
it's all a go now.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah. But this
okay.
is definitely getting technical. Maybe we could start talking about this with a little more educational background to the
Wait, are
to our
we supposed to be
listeners.
talking about art, Steven? I don't think so, brother.
Yeah.
This is a fucking
We
website
definitely
space. Back
we definitely
off.
segued into. Listen, you can be a person, an artist, and make your own website. This is traditionally how people would do it. They make their own website, their portfolios, and they would display their work that way, and they would point people to those places. So just really quick before we're gonna wind this down and wrap up. But oh, hello, Boxer in the
I see
background of
Kinetics'
Duck
is
Kinetics.
dog.
Hey, my
Um,
Bobby.
like on my website, and actually, well, I'll show you really quick what I did is, and I'm utilizing ord.io, I believe, to
Uh,
display the work directly on chain. So let me just show you, and then see.
The
So
toilet.
traditional, yeah, I know the toilet. We'll go
toilet.
to my website where I
Oh,
even
look
have
at
a
you, Steven.
yeah, Cosmic Cowboy. That was 2023 exhibiting at Art Miami. So I built this. So this is a viewer. This is actually a live viewer of a few pieces. So you could actually click this and it will go to the inscription. Those are just like focus pieces, featured pieces. But what I put for each collection, all the breakdown information is not on chain, but this is like a live viewer of the entire collection. And if you click any one of these pieces, this is viewing directly on chain, and it will take you to ordinals.com, which then you can, do your whole
Scroll down.
interaction and,
Yeah.
and appreciate
Cool.
the work. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, this is I've thought about the concept of like a repository where everybody's contributing, but yeah, I think in reality, the whole ideology behind this is to have things on chain. That's why I took like this on chain viewer and then basically I framed it into my website so you could actually view the work that's actually living on chain. I think putting your information on chain is a great idea, but also all artists should definitely have their own portfolio sites. I think that's very important. And a lot of like the marketplaces that we deal with and marketplaces in general, Artsy, places like that, artists put their websites. So you're pointing people to where the information lives about you. But if you're talking about on-chain artwork, it does make sense to have a lot of that information on-chain for sure. Any closing thoughts before we wrap it up here?
I will never have $246 million to buy a lady who looks like a goat standing up.
Fair enough.
That is my. I won't have $246 million to buy anything else either. But I also
A lady
won't
who
have
looks like
to
a
buy
goat.
goat lady.
Harmony, would you like to buy, however you would like to describe her, $236 million?
I would like to buy her, and one day I will have that money.
Yep. Okay. Manifestation. We like that.
Now, what do you got to do to get that? That's maybe this is a topic for next time. What do you have to
we
do?
could-
What do you have to? Who do you have to take that from? It's coming from somewhere. Maybe it doesn't come from nowhere.
You got to make a deal with the devil.
I'm not trying
yeah.
to be.
Or in that case, you just you have oil money from. I think if it's
Or you just
That's taking money from everybody who's driving the car, Steven.
you bought
and making
profits.
Bitcoin in the
That's true.
beginning, maybe ETH in the beginning.
maybe
Yeah,
very
so
early.
that's actually
There's-
one of the only
there's-
things that's not
there's-
predatory.
There is so
True.
much, I think, still to come in this space. I think if you meet, I think there's still so many opportunities to make a shit ton of money.
You love that word.
But
A shit ton. Would you buy
Shit
the
ton.
$236 million Klimt, Dr. Kinetics?
No, because that's not my thing, but that's okay. Like, um, there's some other things that are my thing that if I had the money and it was $236 million, I'd buy it.
I don't think there's anything, no matter how much money I have, that I would buy
Well,
for $246 million. I can't imagine.
yeah. Well, you
Yeah.
can't think of it now because you don't have that money to spend.
Sure.
But if you did, I guarantee you could.
That'd be-
If
That's
I
maybe
had that type of
sure.
money, I would buy art. I think that I would buy art.
I probably would buy art too, actually.
yeah. I was
But I don't
thinking
know
that-
about $246 million.
Well,
That's fucking
that
crazy.
that amount
It
of
is
money.
crazy.
You can buy a lot of art for that amount of money. I mean, you
Or
could,
One Piece, if you want.
yeah, or one piece. But like, I mean, I don't know. You got to have a lot of walls, a lot of
Big
wall
piece, though.
space. Yeah, and then you gotta deal with the logistics and the security and the insurance and the transportation. And there's a lot of stuff that goes into the background of like priceless works of art. Anyway, this was a really, I think it's a good place to stop. This is a really good conversation. I think we could go on for hours, and we're definitely going to continue this next week. I believe. Are we going to? We got to talk about this team. Are we going to
So
continue this
that's-
next?
That
It's
was
gonna
my
be-
I'll be
question.
here.
We can talk about it afterwards in the green room if they don't leave right away.
Yeah, guys, stick around. We'll figure out what we're going to be doing next week really quick. Most likely we will be here.
Short answer is yes.
Yes, Art Live will return next week, Wednesday at 1 p.m. EST. And don't forget, we have Art every Monday on Twitter, X platform. It's podcast style, right? So I don't really like calling it a space. It's an art podcast that takes place every Monday, 2 p.m. EST. So we'll be there Monday, 2 p.m. EST for Art, Wednesday, 1 p.m. EST back for Art Live. Kinetics, Harmony, Donnie, thanks to you guys so much. Everybody who tuned in, I appreciate you. This is a great conversation. Depending on the platform you're watching from, you can like and subscribe and rewatch the video and share it with your friends. So I'm Stephen Morris. This is Art Live, and I'll catch you real soon. Happy Thanksgiving.